The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, March 5th, 2021, years after zero. And today there's some real shit to talk about. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. Let's get to it. The Russell Wilson situation in Seattle continues to cook. Let Russ drama cook. It's what's happening in Seattle. Obviously, Rossini's appearance on this show yesterday did not help that, but she's not the only one talking about problems over there. Now ex-teammates of Russell Wilson are coming out in defense of Pete Carroll, saying there's a lot of people saying that they need to get rid of Pete Carroll if he can't get along with Russell Wilson. You need to watch what you wish for. And then that same person went on to basically just roast Russell Wilson and his success rate and when they put the team on his shoulders without the defense and everything like that. At this point, if Russell doesn't leave Seattle, it feels like it's going to be much more surprising than if he goes back to Seattle. And if you're a Seahawks fan, I understand this potentially just got thrown upon you in the last week or two or last couple of days. It feels like this one's a quick mover. I'm not knowing how that is going to end up, but if Russell Wilson ends up in Chicago, which is what everybody is thinking, good for the Bears being a good football team all of a sudden. Good for the Chicago Bears, who have a great defense. Okay, their defense is great. The defense now has had a tendency over the last couple of years to potentially bow out after getting sick of what's going on the offensive side of the ball, which I think that would change if you get Russell Wilson. Now, I'm not necessarily sure that the Chicago Bears go immediately into the Super Bowl conversation. People will say that because they have Russell Wilson at quarterback with that defense, they should be in there. But we got to remember that is a tough conference to win in over there. But if Russell goes to Chicago, that seemed like something that was very far-fetched, week, 2 ago?
Yeah.
Now it feels like that is most likely situation. Yeah. Ryan Pace, the general manager of the Bears, has come out and said, we're keeping all options on the table. Quarterback, they allegedly had a massive package together for Deshaun Watson as well. At least the Bears, if you're a Bears fan, understand what their problem has been and is trying to get it right. And this last chance for Nagy and Pace to win some games. That's going to be talked about. Ben Roethlisberger's new contract just came out. He also came out with a quote about how happy he is to be a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers and lucky to be there, and he feels like he has the ability to win it all. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about. Skip Bayless just got paid $32 million.
That baby Skip.
Finally, Skip. Fox paid him $32 million, which is interesting because it was a bidding war for the 69-year-old hot take taker. ESPN offered somewhere in between $27 million, they're saying, and $31 million. I guess Fox probably, if you look at the numbers, had a right to match. They give him a $32 million deal over the next 4 years. And I'll tell you what, I would assume that there's a lot of people that are bashing this. In the current position that we're in, okay, with Skip being a part of the second largest sports show every single day, behind one other show, if you look at basically all analytics, this is great fucking news.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Skip.
Now, a lot of people aren't going to talk about this, okay? Everybody I saw it in the comments whenever I tweeted out that this Skip Bayless news is remarkable, because it is. I mean, it is something where, just like the Russell Wilson to the Chicago Bears conversation, we could have never thought this was going to happen just days ago, especially in the world that we currently live in, with the information that we have about everybody, basically, with the way the internet kind of showcases what's going on. And you hear this Skip Bayless deal, and your immediate thought is this guy does the same thing every single day. And I think that is the reason why people need to have a little bit more respect for what Skip Bayless has been able to accomplish. He's 69 years old, okay? He just signed for $8 million a year, and he's been playing the same songs for the last 20 years. He is a musician that goes out every single day and plays the same hits. You know, a lot of musicians, they get sick of playing the goddamn songs. People talk about how they get sick of the road, definitely get sick of the road. They also get sick of playing the same goddamn tune every single night. Skip Bayless has been playing the same song for decades at this point, and he's still getting paid. You have to respect the living shit out of that. Even if what he's saying is something that makes no sense in anybody else's brain, the fact that he's able to negotiate a 8-figure deal at the age of 69, doing the hits, playing the bangers. And he had 2 companies that were going to offer him $20-some million over the next 4 years. One of them I'm currently negotiating with, which is we're in a much different time now all of a sudden. I did not know that was potentially happening, that number was there. But it is very interesting to see how the internet played out. It's actually our poll for today. Our poll for today is strictly because of what I saw from the reaction of my tweet about it. It's almost like, I feel like this should give people more hope for humanity, that at 69 years of age, talking about sports, you can make $32 million somewhere. At the age of 69, you can convince 2 different companies that are publicly traded, or actually I think they're owned by the same company now at this point, but 2 different companies owned by one company can get into a negotiation, a bidding war over you for what you've, I think that's good for society, that is happening to somebody. Let's check the poll, shall we? On YouTube, the poll is, after seeing Skip Bayless sign for $32 million at the age of 69, does this give you more or less hope for humanity? More hope, 16%. That's where I'm at, by the way. And a whopping 84% say we're in trouble, get us to Mars, Elon Musk. That's at 8,000 votes thus far. I assume this will continue to grow. At Ty Schmidt, your thoughts?
Well, like you said, I think the fact that people just hate Skip is driving this without question. I mean, look. Hey, listen, we do a similar thing. This is always good. But I was curious, and obviously you wouldn't know, but do you think this does change a lot of things for current ESPN employees who are on like 10 shows a day, and it's like, you're giving me this much, and you were going to give Skip $8 million to do one show? Like, I imagine that has ruffled some feathers big time over there.
So listen, Fox is obviously the one that won the bidding war for Skip Bayless. And I would like to go very hard on the record. Congratulations to Skip Bayless. I am incredibly pumped for Skip Bayless, but this has to change a lot of people's conversations. ESPN is trying to do whatever they're trying to do. That world is trying to do whatever they're trying to do to, stay, because the world is changing quickly. That world is changing. So ESPN obviously thought, like, what was the last big splash we had? Okay, Stephen A., Skip Bayless. Let's just bring the band back together. Yep. People will like it again. And if you're Horowitz, who created that show, basically, now you work at DAZN. I believe he still works. I'm not 100% sure. But at DAZN, he has to think back and say, like, oh, these people at ESPN haven't been able to think of a new concept since, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And they're just going to bring it back by paying $28 million. I would assume that if you're at ESPN, I'm not a ESPN employee. I had an opportunity, obviously, to have a set number of dates for them, but it was never, and now I'm not. So it's like, now we're in the middle of that conversation. Are we going to redo that? I am not there every single day. And it would take a lot more, than $8 million a year to get us exclusively to ESPN. So I'm not even in that conversation, because I enjoy the fact that we own our own business, we sell our own ads, we have a team here, we do our own thing. So my appearance fee is a little bit different than the people that work there all day. And it's like, hey, we need you to, all right, this is what we need. You need to be on at 6 a.m.
Yep.
And then we're going to need you 1 a.m., Scott Van Pelt. By the way, you get to be on ESPN. Remember, you don't have to be here. You get to be here. It's like, you just offered. That's in the world that we currently live. That is wild. That's the biggest news by far of the last week in my life, and that is the most selfish thing of all time. But when I saw that and read that article, I was just like, this is great news, if that is what that is worth to somebody at some point. And I would assume we're going to have these conversations. They're continuing, but we're in a much different time now than we were just 24 hours ago. Diggs, what's going on, COVID Cowboy? By the way, jacket is...
Thank you.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
It looks like an old school starter jacket, but it has a modern fit and feel to it. You really did well with that. I believe your wife bought it for you. Congrats on the good purchase. COVID Cowboy, what are you thinking, pal?
I'm thinking if I'm Skip, I'm probably quoting the late, great Ron Burgundy. We've been doing this for the last 12 years, and in no way is that depressing.
Same party.
Same party.
Same takes.
$8 million a year. That's awesome. Good for Skip.
Tip of the cap. Tip of the cap.
Tip of the cap. But I also woke up on this Feel Good Friday feeling a little gooder this Friday.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's locked in that we still have our future Hall of Fame quarterback coming back 7 for 7. with about $15 million less in cap space this season. So it just feels good.
And Ben Roethlisberger taking $15 million less out of the cap. It was supposed to be $41.7. That contract was set up for failure, regardless.
Speaking a different tune if it was that.
Regardless if COVID's coming through or not, by the way.
Yeah.
And what you're referring to is the Carson Wentz effect that I had. And if you,
Correct. Yeah.
By the way, if anybody listened to what Diggs just said, attack him too. But Ben has come out and said it is my greatest honor. Okay, there's been a lot of honors. Now that is, what about the day you found
Your Lord and Savior.
Whoa.
Children.
Remember, you got to remember Keenum, okay, after the Minneapolis Miracle, said that moment on the spot was the third best moment of his life or something like that. It was either, I think it was wedding,
Yep.
Jesus, Minneapolis Miracle.
Bingo.
Ben Roethlisberger says, now I don't want to test anybody's faithhood here.
Sure.
It is my greatest honor. Oh man, this is going to be hard for me to get past this fourth word.
There has to be
there's
a bit of
differences.
a riff with Ben and, after what happened.
What happened?
The man upstairs, that wasn't his doing.
What are you talking about?
When the people told his story that wasn't supposed to be told publicly.
Oh, you think he's potentially I don't know. Anyways, let's get back to it. Ben Roethlisberger said, "Is my greatest." That is just not what I would expect out of somebody who. It is my greatest honor to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and give my all for this organization, said Roethlisberger. I am grateful to be at this stage of my career and more than happy to adjust my contract in a way that best helps the team to address other players who are so vital to our success. I love this game and I love to compete. And I believe in this team and my ability to deliver when called upon. It all starts with great preparation, and I'm ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Say no more, Ben. Take a pay cut, ready to go, thinks he can win. Pittsburgh Steelers might be in conversation of the AFC champs this year. How about it?
He is now, a little fun fact, the quarterback who has spent the most seasons with one team for an entire career.
Really?
Because Brady left and went to his second team.
You mean currently active?
No, of all time.
Really?
Uh-huh.
How long was Brady with the Patriots?
What was it, 20 years or something like that?
This was Ben's,
This will be year 18, but this will be his last year and only playing for one organization is what I'm saying.
So it's the longest active streak at the team.
No, because Brady has played for two teams. I'm not saying it correctly.
It's the longest active streak playing for the same team.
Well, that is true as well. But when he finishes his career, he will be the longest tenured career for a quarterback with only playing for one team.
We don't know if that's true, though.
Yeah.
That's right. You have no idea if that's true. Because all these statements could be just him wanting to rake in another, $20 million or something like that.
No.
Yeah, it's an honor, and he loves being a Steeler, and he's also getting another $20-some million.
This is one.
Okay, maybe. What if happens in a year from now if it's growing stronger, his elbow that he just got replaced, and the Steelers are like, we got to move on.
Ideal.
Yeah, but what if the Steelers are like, we got to move on now because it hasn't been able to work, and Ben just happens to hit this quarterback free agency frenzy that has been happening to every quarterback. The fact that the COVID cowboy over there believes that you think there's no chance Ben Roethlisberger ever hits the market and goes somewhere else?
0% chance.
What if the Browns come calling in a couple of years?
0% chance.
What if the Indianapolis Colts give a call in like a year from now?
Nah.
I think it would take a lot because he could have done it this year, right? The team wasn't super committed to bringing him back. He basically gave them money back to come play for the team.
No, he could have retired. He couldn't have went somewhere else.
He could have retired, took a year off, and then came back. They were it seemed like the conversations were they might have been willing to cut him if he played that right.
That's at Nick Moraldo, Pittsburgh Steeler fan as well. Their dead cap hit would have still been like $40 million or something like that. They had to get a restructure, right?
22 if they would have cut him.
Oh.
If he would have...
Pretty large cap hit.
Yeah.
So it was either cut him and pay him 22 to not play, or pay him now 26 this season to play.
Listen, I love that Ben's coming back for you guys, okay?
I do too.
I think it's the best option for you guys to win next year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know long term, but next year I think it's the best option for the
Agreed.
Steelers to win is with Ben Roethlisberger. But 1 year from now, if he becomes, because isn't it a bunch of voidable years on the back end? Isn't that what they made the deal? It's basically a 1 year deal?
Till 2025, yeah. Those
Just
4 years
voidable
after
years.
voids.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is potentially going to be on the market, boys. This is something you're just going to have to deal with.
That won't happen.
And if he plays 1 year somewhere else, that record that you were breaking down there, longest tenured only team quarterback of all time, like that is going to have to change potentially.
done.
That's potentially done. Because Aaron told us last year, you would always hope that you become that guy.
Right.
Aaron said he dreamt of being that guy for the Green Bay Packers, and then he realized quickly with one sudden decision, just I think moments after he said that, well, hours, I guess, because how long it was, one sudden decision, it's not in your control anymore. It's all of a sudden, it's everybody else's control instead of your own.
And if Aaron does not go play for another team, he will then break that record of longest tenure to only playing for one team in your career as a quarterback.
You know, Aaron Rodgers, you know this Russell Wilson situation that's happening right now? Russell's viewed as a super good guy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Russell's viewed as a super Gumpy, Nick, Zito, Mansuri, Jay, Diggs, boys are here. Okay, good. Let's get to it. Russell Wilson always had this super good guy, loves the team. Let's go. Clear eyes, open hearts. How you doing? That whole thing. You know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers had the completely opposite stigma about him being standoffish and snubby and all that stuff. He has never once had his team or anybody come out and say like, "Hey, what's going on in the Packers? Absolute bullshit." Which, by the way, he could if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
Everybody else outside of there has said it. Now, I'm not saying that the Packers aren't a good team. They are. Okay, they have that whole thing. But the Packers have obviously not tried to go. Like they have not. We're going to run this thing how we've always run it. If we win, we win. We should because we got a great quarterback. But they have not gone all in to go, which is basically what Russell Wilson is saying about the Seattle Seahawks. His actually more hinging upon him not being viewed as a top 5 quarterback. Allegedly, he wants to be viewed as a top 5 quarterback all the time, but he doesn't have the MVPs. He thinks allegedly that he's not even top 10. Aaron Rodgers has been able to do all that, but the team is still not doing their thing. It's like Aaron has always been this guy people think is a dick. And Russell's always been this guy that people think is a hero in now similar situations. And I'm not saying this makes Russell Wilson a dick at all. Okay, Russell, you do whatever you got to do. I'm just saying from the population perspective, this has to be quite a moment to be like, oh, the guy that we've always said was an asshole. Now, granted, this past season, I think changed that, and people that know Aaron would never think that. But I'm just saying the overall perspective. And then now they're in similar situations. Like Aaron's just been quiet as shit. He's disappeared completely. Yeah. His team's not saying anything. There's nothing like that going on when clearly that could be happening. Very interesting how that Walter Payton Man of the Year, MVP. Walter Payton Man of the Year not happy voicing it.
Right.
MVP potentially
best spot he's been in, seems like.
Yeah, and he's just like, yeah, whatever you got to do. That's a very that human aspect of that whole thing is very interesting to me.
Well, and I think that is part of the reason why I don't, I mean, the Russell Wilson stuff, it's whatever, but it's because he is a robot. So everyone just assumes that, everything he says, like anytime you see him do an interview or something, he never says the wrong thing. It's always the same prepackaged stuff. Rodgers told us this year, he's like, I'm honest, and then people take it like, oh, this guy's he's an asshole, he's a prick. It's like, but he, if he mentions stuff about personnel or anything like that. Could you imagine
if his team came out, his team said something?
Right.
Aaron Rodgers' team is not happy with what the Green Bay Packers do. Oh my God, it would be, asshole, egotistical Aaron Rodgers back at it again.
Right.
Now, which by the way, we would not, I want to say like, this is not saying this is how I'm reacting to Russell Wilson or how I would react to Aaron Rodgers doing this. I'm just saying it's interesting how the public always views these situations, pick and choose on who's making a good move for themselves and who's a cocky asshole. It's almost like a sociology experiment we're watching happen here live in front of everybody.
And I think that's why a large majority of their fans would give him a pass because he's never been seen like this. So when he comes out and he says all this stuff like, I want personnel and scheme decisions, I want to be viewed as an MVP and as a top quarterback. It's like, okay, well, he's never proved any of this stuff before. But yeah, I mean, if Rodgers did it, he'd get absolutely crucified, no question.
Do you know who I do love though, in their social media? Tom Brady is.
Oh yeah,
he's the best.
Brilliant.
What do you? It was 100,000. How many tweets? How many retweets? 110,000 or something retweets on that. The avocado.
It was like 116, 120.
Yeah. Just slaughtering social media. Greatest of all time. And then yesterday he had to answer because, Baker Mayfield said that he and his lady saw, a UFO coming out of Lake Travis. Hey, I'm about 100% sure, he said.
Yeah.
About 100% sure. My wife and I, we were driving, we saw something fall out of the sky that was not normal. We looked at each other and said, hey, You
see that?
You see? We seen it? Boom, we say, let me go ahead and put this out to the world to see if anybody else also saw what I saw because, social media is a way to get the voice of the people you maybe don't know within your inner circle. He puts it out there, and OG in the game, Colin Cowherd's first reaction is, I see, that's what I'm talking about.
Never going to win.
I don't want my starting quarterback driving with his wife, okay, seeing an alien, seeing a UFO, talking about it and doing that whole thing. That's just get your fucking head in a playbook.
Yeah.
All right, that's all. That's Colin Cowherd, which, by the way, I have to repeat it again. I find that incredibly amazing that is the first reaction Colin Cowherd has, and that is why Cowherd has been doing what he's doing for so long. Just like you could think however you want to think. It is amazing he thinks that way. We did not have that thought. Then Colin Cowherd says, my quarterbacks don't see UFOs. You know what I mean? The Tom Bradys, the Montanas, the Youngs or whatever. He went through a whole thing. Tom Brady, in maybe 6 words, 7 words, just completely buries his entire team. Tom Brady tweets out, "Who says, how do you know I have never seen aliens, Colin?" Hey, Colin, Colin, just quick question. How do you have any idea that I've never seen aliens? Because Cowherd's quote was Joe Montana, Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw's definitely seen aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
many times.
And I would assume Troy Aikman, by the way.
Probably as well.
I would assume Troy Aikman probably pretty open to the entire UFO alien thing as well. Joe Montana, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Joe Montana. I don't know much about that man. He has those shoes that are really
shape-ups, yep.
He has the Tony Romo
Yep.
big monster truck shoes or whatever.
Yep.
Kind of like my Hoka Ones. Nah, they're not the Cacaigne white. Yeah, the Skechers are too selfish. They put the S all over it, so it kind of makes it look like Kids Bop or whatever when you're wearing it. The Hokas are just like, hey, we'll stay off of this. You just do what you got to do if you want to walk on a goddamn platform cloud. But I do like the thought that Tom Brady has definitely seen an alien. That's what it feels like, right?
Sounds like it.
It might actually be one.
But at the level he's at, right, the world that he lives in, I'm assuming he knows the people.
He's probably been at conferences with him.
I'd assume he sat down next to him.
A couple more doors open for him.
And then a couple of doors open probably for his wife as well.
Yeah.
So that's 4 or 5 doors now at this point. I'd assume that behind one of those doors was somebody who knows about fucking aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Because I had a sit down with a admiral who was one of the chiefs of staff for President Obama. He came in and spoke to our team as a motivational speech. I think I told you guys about this. I had dinner after that meeting, and I was the last one there. And he came and sat down next to me, and like his Secret Service was around the room or whatever. And he probably wanted to talk football or whatever. I was like, I'm never getting this opportunity again. So I hammered him with questions about everything. Tell me about the border, Ebola at the time. I wanted boom, boom, boom. He was giving me answers. I'd assume Tom Brady can have those conversations, every single night if he wants.
Yep.
He was eating dinner with who? Bill Gates, the guy that owns Lightning and Jeter or whatever down there.
Yeah.
I'd assume Tom Brady knows.
G's got a lot of doors open. I mean, I'd argue that if your quarterback hasn't seen or hasn't met aliens, then they're not worth a shit.
Yeah, that is potentially a good argument at this point. Now, I will have to check in with Patrick Mahomes. I would assume Patrick Mahomes has also seen an alien.
Probably.
Joining us now is an insider from ESPN, ladies and gentlemen, Field Yates.
Yeah,
Field, quick question. Do we know, is it on record if Patrick Mahomes has seen an alien or not? Because at this point, if your quarterback, what the COVID Cowboys saying, should you be alarmed if your quarterback hasn't seen an alien at this point? Is that something we should more look into?
I don't think it's on the record yet, but I'm not prepared to discount the possibility that Patrick Mahomes has seen aliens. Okay. I feel like if there's an admirable quality in a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes probably has it.
And we believe pretty firmly here that if you've seen an alien, that is an admirable is an admirable quality. Actually, pretty envious. Let's get to
red flag if you haven't, right?
Yeah, that's what we're saying though. Like, because just yesterday, I mean, Aaron has seen a UFO orange bulb go through the sky, 4 jet fighter pilots flying behind him or whatever. Then Baker obviously saw the thing fall out of the sky. Tom Brady basically said, yeah, I know them. Yeah. I know these like, that's basically what Tom said. So at this point, I'm wondering, as Carson, like, hey, Carson, well, before we talk about you being a cult here, let's talk about whether or not you've seen. Let's move on. Russell Wilson has certainly not seen an alien, but he is currently entrenched in a PR battle with the Seattle Seahawks. It began with his team of people that are surround him on a day-to-day basis, releasing some information, him going on the Great Dan Patrick Show, talking about it a little bit, and then more and more starts to leak out. This is getting ugly. If he goes back to Seattle, it seems like it'd be much more unlikely than for him to leave now. It seems like that is definitely what's going to happen. Has this been happening this quickly all along, or are we just now realizing it here in the last day or so? This is speeding up, it feels like, Field.
Rarely do these things just come together out of nowhere, Pat. So I don't think this is like newfound frustration that just bubbled up whatever morning it was where the initial reporting came out. I think people have known about the possibility of Russell Wilson being frustrated. I think the question that we have to sort of figure out over the next few months is, if a quarterback is ostensibly 1 foot out the door already, what kind of success can you achieve? Like, if Seattle believes that Russell Wilson already has 1 foot out the door and everything we've heard publicly suggests that he does that mean that it's just a matter of time that he's playing elsewhere? Whether that's a trade this offseason or a trade next offseason, it feels, at least right now, like an eventual separation is coming. So Seattle has to make a determination. When does it make most sense to execute your exit strategy? Because it's a ton of money you're going to eat in terms of dead salary cap if you trade them this offseason. But if there's an offer that presents itself somehow, some way this offseason that you don't believe will ever be matched going forward, then I think you at least have to have eyes open to this. I think I, generally speaking, am doing my best to not even entertain the idea of trading Russell Wilson. But if it's going to become an inevitability, you have to at least size up the best offers available.
Diana Rossini reported yesterday that the Seattle Seahawks are shopping. She did not. But she did say the calls are going. She said calls are going both ways. It feels like Seattle is much more open to it than Houston, right? Houston, with what you just said about how much success can you have if you have a quarterback that's 1 step out the door, it feels like Deshaun Watson was an entire yacht out the door just a couple weeks ago, and it's only gotten even worse after meeting with Coach Dave and having a conversation with him. Where are we standing at that? When's that going to blow up? That has to blow up at some point, doesn't it? I mean, at some point, that whole situation is going to blow up.
Yeah, I would think so. And what's interesting is that a lot of things that Houston has done so far this off season, and it's not like we've even reached free agency. But if you look at some of the players they've released, they have not yet, and I suppose they could, franchise tag Will Fuller as an example, then like a lot of the moves they've made, even if they're closer to being around the margins, do suggest a team that realizes it's got a little bit of a rebuild ahead of it. You release starting center Nick Martin as an example. You've made several moves. Duke Johnson released, David Johnson restructured, moves that suggest this team understands it's got a lot of work to do to get this roster to be where it needs to be. And, on the one hand, the easiest way to work backwards is to trade away Deshaun Watson because he's your best player by far. He's 25 as a franchise quarterback. On the other hand, if you're going to blow this thing up, then trading Deshaun Watson is going to net you the largest pick, or I guess largest return of picks that you possibly could.
Phil, quick question.
I think at some point.
Quick question. If you're the Houston Texans and you've not gone through a draft yet or a scouting process, so realistically, you're not 100% sure how great you are at those two things yet, right? You're not 100% sure if you're going to hit or not. I'd assume every GM thinks that they're the best ever at drafting, but more others are probably a little bit more self-aware through failure. If the Miami Dolphins were to offer 3 picks within the top 40 picks this year for Deshaun Watson, would that not be an incredible amount of picks in return to rebuild right now? But on the flip side, is there a chance that Cesario and Easterby are looking at each other like, we ain't even know if we're good with these picks yet. Like, we have no idea if those 3 picks are going to turn out to anything. Is that something you think? Like, is Miami a real player in this with the amount of draft capital that they have? Or is Miami, after cutting Kyle Van Noy, just looking for things to kind of rebuild with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think 3 picks this year is enough to start. I think that it would have to be at least 3 picks this year, 3-17 and a second-round pick plus potentially a first-round pick next year, because despite the fact that Deshaun Watson wants to get out, like
is that a fantasy football trade or is that real life? That's like from what you heard, 3 and then.
I would say this. I'm just using logic here. No one specifically told me, hey, the asking price is a minimum of 3 first-round picks. But look at this offseason, Pat. We've got several teams that I think need a quarterback upgrade. Right? You can make the case for teams that need a quarterback upgrade to include Washington, New England, Chicago, teams near the top of the draft like New York, the Jets, maybe Atlanta wants to add a quarterback to the pipeline, Carolina, Denver potentially. There are a lot of teams that need a quarterback upgrade. who are the quarterback upgrades that are available out there right now? Certainly Trevor Lawrence to take care of Jacksonville, but
Derek Carr?
Yeah.
But he doesn't even seem available. And if he is, that means that the Raiders have upgraded to somebody else, right? So they would have – but there aren't that many players that represent upgrades. The two that do on the veteran market are Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. So I think the picks are going to be – minimum 3 first-round picks. If you're Chicago right now and Miami says, hey, we'll give Houston 2 first-round picks this year plus a second-round pick, Chicago may say, why do that? We'll give you this year's first, next year's first, the following year's first, and a few other picks, and maybe a young player as well. Because I think if I'm Chicago, I'm anteing up at least that much for a player like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it sounds like they've been the most interested in both Deshaun via Jeremy Fowler, which I assume is a friend of yours. You're probably on the same group text via him. Chicago has packages for Deshaun and for Russell, I guess. They are in the market, which is good for all Chicago fans, I would assume. Ty Schmidt, what do you have?
Field, have you heard anything about Aaron Jones? The Packers GM not too long ago said that they'd franchise him if he thought that was the best thing for the team, but it doesn't seem like they're going to do that. Have you heard anything about where he might wind up?
And a follow-up to that question, Field, how come when the GM says that and he says, like, we'll make a decision that's best for the team or whatever, it's like, that's what we're asking you, pal. Like, did anybody, how come that never happens? I apologize for that. But whenever he gave that big statement, it said nothing. And it's like, we're asking for you, pal, to give that answer. It's just, it's not an organizational philosophy to eschew the franchise tag, although he says there are usual better ways to avoid it. He says he'll use the franchise tag on Aaron Jones if that is what's best for the Packers. It's very much case by case. It's like, that's what we fucking asked you, bro. Like, what are you hearing over there?
Yeah, first of all, that's a big word to throw into a press conference. Eschew the franchise tag. Like, I had to look that one up when I first heard it.
So did we. It's great to know that you did as well. Yeah, it's great to know.
2 birds with a feather. I would say that.
Don't say
so
that.
I think it depends on where the franchise tag ends up because we're still waiting on the salary cap. I expect the number. As much as the salary cap being down is a detriment to basically the entire league. Amongst the few areas where things will help just a little bit, and again, these don't really given how low the salary cap is, like they're not really wins, but because franchise tags will be a little bit more affordable this year with the salary cap being down, maybe that breathes some life into Aaron Jones getting a franchise tag. But oftentimes, guys, I just look backwards here. The Packers used a second-round pick last year on, as you do as well, on A.J. Dillon. I know friend of the program, A.J. Dillon. So you've got a guy in A.J. Dillon who ran well down the stretch last year. The Packers did give him some work, even when Aaron Jones is healthy and on the field, that you're going to have to make tough decisions this year as a Packers organization. And while I'm sure Aaron Rodgers and many, if not all the Packers would prefer that Aaron Jones is still there, this team's feeling the cap crunch a little bit, and running back is a position that we know much more than others is easier to find replacement players. Aaron Jones himself is a good example. He was a fifth-round pick all the way back when he was drafted in 2017. So this is an example of a player that, the best way to replace him might be to go find the next Aaron Jones out of Utah.
Yeah, dynamic players are always difficult to replace, and I think Aaron Jones has become a dynamic player. But you're right, it does feel like there are more successful running backs than other positions that are a little bit scarce. The salary cap thing, you just hit on it there, is going to be a problem for everybody. The Washington football team has cleared $14.9 million off because they released Alex Smith, who just won Comeback Player of the Year. This follows GQ magazine, where Alex Smith said Washington they didn't want me to come back. They didn't want me to be the Comeback Player of the Year. They didn't want me to play. I kind of forced them into this. Is it ugly behind the scenes? Because the Washington football team has come out and said now that Alex requested the release. Where do you see him potentially landing? Is he going to be a backup? Does he still think he's going to be a starter? And what's going on behind the scenes over in Washington? Because the exposés kind of stole the light. Now it sounds like Alex Smith potentially not thrilled with what's going on over there.
Yeah, so I would say that on the one hand, any player is going to be frustrated, probably having gone through the pendulum of emotions that Alex Smith experienced over the past year, right? Not knowing if a team believed he would make his way back or not, and then obviously having, he was the third string quarterback for a portion of the season, right? But I think we all know enough about Ron Rivera to know that a coach who's going to handle things the right way more often than not is typically Ron Rivera. As far as Alex Smith's future, I do think it's an interesting conversation. It was the best story in football last year. I thought it was an incredibly inspiring story. I thought there were some life lessons to be gained from watching Alex Smith return to the football field and doing what he loved. On the other hand, if you're looking at the potential starting gigs right now, there's not a ton. And we all love Alex Smith. All of us do. I'm sure I can speak for this entire program in saying as much. He threw 2 fewer touchdowns than interceptions last regular season. He averaged like 190 passing yards per game. This is a passing league. When they won their 5 games down the stretch last year to clinch the NFC East, obviously the competition wasn't great, but he still was averaging like 6.3 yards per attempt. Just for some perspective, some of the best around the NFL are closer to 8.5 or 9 yards. Not a vertical passer. We know because of all he's been through with his leg, he's not a runner anymore. He had 3 rushing yards on 10 attempts last season. You think about the way the league is trending, high volume passing offenses and quarterbacks that can, if not run for a ton of yards, at least extend plays with their feet and run for some level of yards, whether it's an Aaron Rodgers or a Patrick Mahomes, but they're also just going to buy time. So I think Alex Smith probably makes the most sense as a backup somewhere. And I think his greatest trait to wherever he goes would be leadership. I think there's a chance to be an excellent leader.
Jacksonville. What do you got, Gumpy?
Yeah, Field. Seattle Seahawks player came out this morning and basically said that Russell hasn't won without an elite defense or run game, and he believes more in Pete Carroll. Do you think the Seahawks feel the same way, like they can replace Russell Wilson?
So I think it's possible. First of all, doesn't that strikes me as like the kind of quote you'd hear from a player that either plays defense or was a running back, right?
Yeah. By the way,
wide
also
receivers are going to be saying that.
Also, a guy that did not go to Russell Wilson's birthday party.
True.
Which we do have to think about whenever we hear these quotes. So I mean, that's
very, very good point.
Yeah.
So here's what I would say is that I think it's possible the Seahawks believe Pete Carroll is one of the best coaches in all of football. I think it's also possible that they understand how difficult it is to replace Russell Wilson, especially at this juncture. It's funny, I was rewatching a video that Chris Mortensen tweeted back, I think it was February 26th, and it was revisiting a conversation that had been had, I want to say like 2 weeks before that. And Mort was retelling the story of the time that Seattle in 2018 went and saw Josh Allen in a pro day, and there was actually a conversation between John Schneider, their GM, and John Dorsey, at the time the Browns GM. This is when the Browns had the first overall pick. No deal ever gained significant traction, but it's sort of one of those stories that when you think about what's going on right now, it's hard not to remember that story and think about the idea that it's not that Seattle doesn't believe Russ is unbelievable, right? It's that I think many teams are going to be more mindful of potential exit strategies if they think there's a chance they might need a quarterback going forward. It doesn't feel to me right now that Russell Wilson is examining the Seahawks, are examining exit strategies for us. They just paid him whatever it was, a year or two ago, 4 years. That was 2 years ago. 4 years and $140 million, $35 million per season. I don't think Seattle was planning to have to revisit their quarterback depth chart before that.
Had 2 chains on. He was in bed, I think, whenever that deal was signed. It was late night. I'm tired. Mr. Unlimited might be on the move. Same with Deshaun after signing $100 million deals. We appreciate your time here today, Field. Quick question. How many wins does this team get next year? This is going to be my new closeout question, I think, for people.
Motor City, 10-6 and win 1 playoff game. Just for my guy Foxy.
17-game season, okay? There's NFL expert Field Yates.
11-6.
Okay, 11-6. All right, appreciate you, Field. Field's a man. Shout out to Field, dude.
Shout out.
Shout out, Field.
Chris Mortensen, also a legend, by the way. He got a little mention in there. The NFL is up. Nobody has a fucking clue what's going to happen.
No.
All right, let's get to a break.
Russ held the Seahawks' feet to the fire already for that contract a few years ago.
It was ugly.
Yeah.
That's why that late night video was a big deal, because it was like, oh, the Seahawks got a deal done. And it has always been like Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson hand in hand, like these two are a tag team. They speak the same, they act the same. And now it's like, what's changed, dude?
What's going on?
What has changed?
What has changed?
They're the Rockers now.
Is it philosophical differences that I think you stink at football now? Is that what Pete Carroll said with that philosophical differences?
Sounds like it.
Is that how Russell Wilson took it when he said that?
Mm-hmm.
Everything went downhill since Mr. Unlimited arrived.
Well, some would say it probably went downhill before that. And that's how Mr. Unlimited even happened.
Mm-hmm.
Time to get to a break. 42 minutes into the show. We'll take some phone calls on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. By the way, if you have time here in the next hour and 43 minutes, go ahead and tweet Ariel Helwani that he is coming on the show, but none of us are happy about it.
Yes.
He'll be on at 2:25 Eastern Standard.
Great.
It's the Pat McAfee Show, Friday, March 5th. It's supposed to be feel good, but Ariel's coming on the show.
Great.
There's a grown man with face paint on. So you're Big Nut.
I am, and you're Little Nut.
Well, I've had a few of those in my life. Hey, I'll tell you what, Big Nut. I hope to find you one day on my wedding night. Big Nut!
Little Nut!
You did a great job, too. The lines are straight. No DUI problem there. You're really doing a great job here, sir. Hey, Big Nut, I love everything you're about, bud.
Because we are going to win the game.
He just spit in my mouth while saying that. The most likely team to make the college football playoff is the team that is in Columbus. He said khakis are way too close to that team from up north. If you don't put black pants on right now, you're going to get booed out of Columbus. So I went with the black. Makes me look thin. And whenever I say 2 letters, the place goes crazy. OH! Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie George. That offense, though, led by Justin Fields. He has 41 touchdowns accounted for, only 1 turnover. I don't know how he isn't the Heisman favorite right now.
Well, he certainly has a chance to make a stick at that today, certainly next week.
Was supposed to be in Penn State, they didn't. And Mike McQuarrie told me I wasn't Penn State material. Okay, Herbie was your quarterback. He was a senior. You were a freshman. What was he like as a teammate?
Oh, he was great, man. Big shoulder pads. Kurt could run for days back in the day. Back in the day.
We have a guy that can break every single bone in my body. Steve, how you doing, boss man? They're down 6-1. She wants to flex on the gram. He says, lady, we are getting slaughtered by the Pittsburgh Penguins. No. Do I do it, too? I feel like I need to do this.
Look, I don't understand the whole legal gambling thing. I've been gambling illegally my whole life. I don't get what you mean by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Dude, illegal gambling is done. It stinks. Legal gambling is the greatest thing of all time. FanDuel Sportsbook has so many good bets. They even refund bets that they think didn't deserve to lose. They got all the spreads. They got same game parlays. You have to start gambling on FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal state. And that's not the only thing. They make it so easy to withdraw and deposit money. You can just link your bank, deposit whatever you want, withdraw whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yes,
I mean, this
please.
truly is the greatest sports gambling app out there.
He's right about the banking. It is the greatest, but you really don't understand the bets that this sports book has. They have in-game bets. They have in-game parlays, and he said it, but I'm going to say it again. The odds at this place are the best, and once you download FanDuel Sportsbook, we are going to take all of their money. All of their money. Right? 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 FanDuel! 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 FanDuel!
giving the old white guys something to complain about. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Kids. Welcome back. Welcome back. National Sleep Month is officially underway. Did you know that?
I love it.
Love sleep.
Love it.
Love it.
I think today's National Oreo Day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think it's National Siblings Day, too.
Jay, what up, dude?
What up, Jay?
Jay, you and me go together like Oreos and milk.
Oh.
Boom.
Boom.
Look at that tie together.
And tonight, when I sleep, Jay, I will not be thinking of you.
I was wrong.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird.
Nah. Yeah.
Siblings Day is April 10th. Someone lied to me.
Had a baby tone.
Guys can't be putting fucking things into Diggs'
National
ears like
days.
this.
Somebody fucking lied.
Somebody tweeted it to you.
I think they did.
Somebody tweeted that to Diggs. Diggs read it. And now we kind of open ourselves up for another Darn Schefter situation, but from random people tweeting Diggs. Oh,
Yeah.
Diggs, happy Bum
National
Day.
Pizza Day.
We'll be in a conversation, and Diggs will be like, hey, did you guys know? Diggs, you're the best.
I didn't think that was one I had to check.
National Sleep Month is officially underway, and as the official CBD of a good night's rest, or good night's sleep, our good friends at CBDMD want to help you celebrate the right way. They've got a perfect duo of melatonin-infused CBD products that will help you sleep harder than NBA All-Star voters slept on Bam Adebayo. Oh, no. And Trae Young, dude. CBDPM, if you mess up early, kind of is one of those things. It's like when those skiers on those things that
Slow.
Miss a couple on
once
the
you miss
slalom.
one of them,
Yep.
once you get out of rhythm, it's basically over.
You're done.
It's like those motocross people. They do the jump thing, and once you get one, oh bang, bang, broken arm. That's what happens if you get going with CBDPM and you mess up with a D there early. Then the P is going to come early. But just know that CBDPM blends sleep-promoting ingredients like melatonin, valerian root, and chamomile with 500 milligrams of high-quality CBD to create a powerful and effective sleep aid. And Sleep PM bath salts.
Ooh.
I don't know if these are the bath salts, the sleep ones or not, but they fuse superior CBD and melatonin with a mixture of Epsom, Dead Sea, and Himalayan salts to turn any bathtub into a luxury spa experience.
Wow, like that.
My wife loves the baths. I never took one before. Cold tub would get in a cold tub, obviously. Not a cold lake like JJ and TJ did, but a cold tub. My wife, big bath lady. She gets the bath bombs and things like that. CBD is her new, or CBDMD is her new favorite one.
Well, that's some salt.
Yeah, right now you go to cbdmd.com and you get 25% off your next order when you use promo code McAfee, MCAFEE. That's cbdmd.com, promo code MCAFEE for 25% off. Welcome back to the show. Shout out to CBD MD.
Good stuff.
For their CBD PM and their CBD bath salts and bath bombs.
Well said.
Thank you. They are awesome. We got a new CBD smoke product.
Yep.
In the office. Mitt one got it.
Yep.
Thing's a science experiment.
Yeah.
Looks pretty sweet.
It is a hard hitter, I will tell you that.
Yeah.
This thing is coming straight in at level 9 on the throw of the fight or the Mike Tyson punch out.
Unfortunately, Mitt almost burned the office down last night using it.
Yeah, I mean, Mitt does a lot of great things, but also some dumb as well. Let's go to Mike in Chicago. What's going on, Mike? Great work, Mitt.
Hey, baby, Mitt.
What's up, boys? How y'all living?
Hey, just living fine. How are you, Mike?
Pretty good. About to start the Amazon route pretty soon.
Oh, you a delivery guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, we appreciate you. Do you have like a Sprinter van? Do you use your own car? What is it?
So I switch off between the step vans, which are big UPS trucks, and then the Sprinter vans, which are like the mini ones you see all the time.
Do they have air conditioning and stuff in there, or is it like the old school delivery where you just kind of got to bake in there with however the weather's feeling?
Yeah, no, there is air conditioning, but when it gets cold in the backs, that's where it's either stays whatever the temperature is.
In the freezer.
The front, they have air conditioning in the heat, but when you're in the back of the van, it's whatever. If it's hot, it's hot. If it's cold, it's freezing.
Okay, so before you go any further, and we appreciate you calling and explaining that, remember that whenever you're sending 700-pound chairs to the fucking office, okay?
Yeah.
You got guys like Mike in Chicago
Exactly.
just blowing their backs out in the freezing cold weather to get them in here. Mike, what do you want to talk about, pal?
I
People need to think
wanted
about
to ask, so with all these teams that need quarterbacks and are like moving quarterbacks around, do you think Colin Kaepernick will get a chance this season?
Mike, I do believe, and it's very interesting because the Colin Kaepernick not being hired back to the NFL after the national anthem, national thing that happened. I mean, that was international, I guess. That was one of the biggest stories of, probably a decade, if I had to guess, just because it split the entire country. I mean, it was people who loved the NFL forever hated the NFL. People that, hated football started taking shots at football. I mean, it was a wild time, but it also created a conversation, I think, that would have never happened, to be honest with you, if it didn't get as big. So both sides, really saw it either as a massive problem, the way it was being handled, or as a massive, good thing that was happening. So it was just immediately a mission, right? What Colin Kaepernick did is, okay, I'm going to bring a mission to bring some conversation about what's going on in the inner cities around the country. And it happened during the national anthem, even though he was alongside a Green Ranger named Nate Boyer, who actually, I think they decided to kneel. Since they were kneeling while the national anthem and military was happening, while it was all going on, that narrative immediately got kicked in that Colin Kaepernick hates America, hates the military, boom, boom, boom. And Colin Kaepernick was, at the beginning, I think they tried to say, no, that's not what it's about. And then it was just like, no. And then obviously the cop pig socks happen. Then Fidel Castro shirt happens. And it's all of a sudden like, okay, so now it's getting even bigger and bigger. What started as something that I think could have helped our country years before a lot of other stuff started happening, it inevitably became one big massive war. And the NFL decided, like, this is not what we're going to be a part of. So then when Colin doesn't get a job, everybody automatically assumes, okay, this guy's been blacklisted, he's been told not to be hired, and it moves on and moves on. At this point now, though, 5 years past the entire thing, 5 years past Colin Kaepernick, and people will say that Colin Kaepernick wasn't playing great football when he last played. That's probably an accurate statement if you look at how he's playing. He probably wasn't playing his best football he had ever played, but there was never a thought that Colin Kaepernick was worse than 31 other dudes or even the backups in the NFL. Like, everybody knew that Colin Kaepernick should have had a position on a team. There was something happening. And then years pass, and a workout's supposed to happen between Colin and the NFL. And I was pumped, by the way, as somebody that was in the locker room as this entire thing was happening, getting a chance to hear what the outsiders who, the people that were saying it was against military and everything. And then I also got to hear the inside of the locker room talking like, hey, this is what it's about. And we also have family members and people saying that if we don't do this with him, like, we're not taking a stand for our people. And I'm like, well, all I think a lot of us wish that knew both sides is like, hey, this should be something we should pretty much talk about this, because this feels like something that could potentially burn a lot of shit. And by the way, it did. Okay, there was boycotts and everything like that. So whenever there was finally an opportunity, it felt like that the NFL and Colin Kaepernick were coming back together. I thought this was good for everybody. And if Colin goes in there and has a workout, that's awesome. It's like, okay, somebody gets him on a team. Now it's the whole thing full circle. Although there was some fucked up time there for a couple of years, him getting back up on a team, that's good. The NFL can be like, hey, although we fucked up, we made it right. Then all of a sudden, an hour or two before the workout, Colin says, I'm not going. I'm going down the street an hour and a half. I'm doing that whole thing. So now at this point, I think after that happening, the people who were on his side that wanted to see it come together, once he decided to back out of it, and then he put out a couple videos of him throwing deep balls, and I guess he looked good, I think those people were like, okay, now it's never going to happen. So although I feel like, could Colin Kaepernick play better than a couple of the backups around the NFL? I would assume that is the case at this age because of how great of an athlete he was and everything like that. But I think the time of him potentially getting back in the league and this thing coming full circle, I think that's done. I think that time is done.
Yeah, I also don't think he has any interest anymore. He's got like a new Netflix show coming out. He's got a bunch of other stuff he's doing. Like, I'm sure he's at this point made peace. Like, all right, well,
hey, that workout, if he would have had to do it,
that would have been awesome.
Would have been so cool.
Just
he
to
gets
see
a job.
Just to see it.
He didn't trust that it was a fair workout or whatever, and I wish he would have done it, and then it would came out on the other side. It wasn't. Hour 2 is on the other side. We'll answer some more phone calls. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
Slow down and see the salty water.
wow. He's getting the crowd into it.
Got some pumping up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, with the balance! Oh, with the balance! Oh!
Silver platter for Pat. I don't know.
Oh, man. Oh, he's all over the table. He really is done for. Oh, and we have one! Oh, wow.
And there it is. There's too much semen in Bill's controller, so the buttons are sticking together. He is in jeopardy of owing.
Oh, Skunk is still alive.
Skunk is still alive, but
Let's go.
11-4 probably.
Yeah, people talk about how skinny his legs are at times. I don't think people talk about how skinny his arms are as well. those things are paper thin.
We have eclipsed the $10,000.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you, AJ.
Good boy, AJ Hawk.
Very.
I could barely hear you guys anyway, so it's good. That was a good match. Good
Hey,
couple matches by Pat.
AJ, appreciate you, man.
I'm sweating bad.
Yeah, me too.
Have
I'm
you
pretty
been
wide
beat?
open as well. Hey, you're a good
Have you
player,
been-
AJ. Is that your first time playing?
It's like my second time playing this game. Not real ping pong. I'd love to play you any day of the week, but this one's still fun.
Oh, okay, well, I play Oculus ping pong. Okay? I'll see you next time, AJ. We appreciate you.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you, AJ.
Yes. See you guys.
I'd also potentially taken over their 30 edibles because I thought more teammates of mine were going to want to indulge in that either before the game or after the game. And to get to London, you go through your own TSA here. The team has TSA that you have to check in. Here's my passport. The Colts already have it. They took it all from everybody. It's literally you get your bags checked and then you're through. Put them in a little thing. We're good to go. It's team's TSA. Get on the bus, fly over there. I forgot all about them. Didn't utilize them at all because how things quickly changed.
Right.
After we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're on the team bus. They go, hey, we're going through Heathrow Airport through the real-life TSA. And at that moment, I look around. I go, oh, no. I have some things in my bag right now that have vitamins in them. I have to get rid of them. And at that point, I'd whittled it down to like 15 of them. And I look at Vinatieri, and I'm like, buddy, not good. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I'm just going to throw them away in here. Couldn't do that because right next to the trash can was an English police officer. So I couldn't just walk up and dump a bunch of edibles into the thing next to the guy. He's going to ask questions. We're going to the Heathrow Airport. Now I got to do what I got to do. We finally get there. Police escorts, a lot going on. So I just take down 13 edibles.
Yikes.
See you later. Vinatieri looks at me and goes, how you doing, bub? I was like, good now, but things are about to happen. He goes, I got you, little buddy. I'm like, thank you. So we go through the little check-in thing. And right before we get to the scan of the bags thing, it all hits me. I might as well have been on Cloud 45 over there in London. They check my bag, boom, boom, boom. I get selected. Something was in my bag. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, did I leave a couple in there? Oh my God. Vinatieri starts walking ahead. He turns around, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, they got my bag, man. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. So he comes and stands with me. He's like, I got you, bub. I was like, they might got me, for real. I might be staying the night in England. They go through my bag. Turns out, had a vibrating toothbrush. Thing was vibrating in my bag.
Yep.
They're like, oh, it must have been this. Or it must have been my big-ass toothpaste, because you can't fly with that. I was like, you got it, pal. I get all the way back to the plane. Lost my ticket somewhere. Somehow I don't have a ticket. So now I got to check into the gate people that I don't have a ticket. I'm like, I'm on this plane. I promise I am, but I don't have a ticket. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, Patrick McAfee. The McAfee? No, yeah, whatever you want to call me. I just need a ticket. So now I have to sit there and wait as somebody brings me a ticket from the front while my entire team walks by me, knowing that I'm on Cloud 50, just having a good time. Grigson walks by, just upset, obviously. I wish he would have known that I was in a mood where he should have talked to me there. It was just a nightmare. The London trip for me from beginning to end was not good, and I think that happens for a lot of NFL players.
Shinigami, fighting out of Lancaster, California.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Feel Good Friday, March 5th, 2021, years after zero. Hour 2 starts now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. Shout out to Michigan for that ass beating they gave Michigan State last night. Shout out. I've been losing some bets because I've been on the Foxy train as opposed to the Fade Foxy money train that has been for the last month or so. And yesterday, what Evan Fox, who is currently on vacation, by the way, I hope he's enjoying himself. He's on a beach. He deserves it. Hardworking kid. He's currently on a vacation. What he did yesterday for the Fade Foxy FanDuel boost, as soon as we saw what it was, because he was directly setting that up, so we honestly did not know what it was. As soon as we saw what it was, we knew what he was doing. In the last 2 times, basically, that this bet, the Foxy train that I've bet alongside has actually won, has been the same thing. He's a diehard Michigan State fan. He bets on Michigan because he's like, oh, I'm the worst gambler. So he's buying into the hype that he is a terrible gambler and that curses are real. Yesterday, he bet alongside Michigan to cover like 13.5, 12.5 against his beloved Michigan State, which he would never do, by the way. He would bet Michigan State all the time. So he was trying to mush Michigan, which means that Foxy has bought in completely to the fact that curses are real, which is what he has been saying this entire time, is that curses, much like fairy tales, are fugazi, it's fake. He's now seeing that he could potentially benefit off of his mush by getting Michigan State to win and betting on Michigan. He wins last night. I win big alongside of him. But we all know what you're doing, Foxy.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
It's just like,
as someone who lives in the gambling world, that's what we do. We bet games.
You do. I do bet games, but you're at a different level.
Yeah.
You are.
This is life or death.
You are. Your entire life is games. We
live in it.
And I love that, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I do. I cannot condone this, Pat.
He comes in and just disrespects all your shit.
Just spits on it. Spits all over it. It's disgusting.
And then did you see how he celebrated this entire thing?
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to lose last night.
Absolutely.
Okay? I'm a guy who has lost thousands and thousands riding alongside of him because I want him to know, as the world was shitting on him, I want him to know that curses aren't real. I'm riding, hey, your next shot's your best shot, dude. You're going to do it. And it has gotten very expensive. Now, the Fade Foxy people have won handsomely. Handsomely. 17-8 over the last 25 days, okay? So they have won. He's almost the most sure thing in gambling here for the last month or so, this Evan Fox guy. But last night he tried to lose because he wanted to help out Michigan State because they needed to get a win, by the way, bubble team at the moment.
Yep.
And then he wins and then he celebrates.
He's still lost.
You remember the last time he went on vacation? What happened?
Oh, yeah.
He got on an escalator that went out of the building.
Damn near never
Had
came
no
back.
idea where he was.
Oh, no. So we got to prepare for a 4 to 5 buffer day, maybe. The last time Foxy went on vacation, was that not the last time? He literally went on an escalator. There was 3 escalators in this airport we were in. I got on one. We were talking. He gets on another one. This thing just goes right out of the building. He goes to a completely different building in this airport. That was just like the string of things. What else? He left... He left something
his camera.
He left his video camera with all of our shit in it, which, by the way, that is that is with him at all times whenever we travel. He just left it somewhere. He forgot his clothes, his entire luggage at one place. This kid is the most orderly person I've ever met. The maturity of Foxy is something that nobody could truly understand until you're around him. He's like an old goddamn man. He comes back from that vacation, leaving his clothes in different states, taking escalators out of the building, dropping his camera around. Now he's celebrating something that he wanted to lose. I'm pumped for him to get back. I can't wait to see him, but I'm worried about what we're getting on the other side of this thing.
I mean, it was a brilliant move. I'll give him that, you know.
It was a win-win for him.
It really was, you know. And Foxy's taking it in the shins, obviously. I don't know why he is, because people have been making a lot of money off him. But, I mean, you know, I get it. Is it honorable? No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But what are you going to do?
All right, let's move on. By the way, Hammered Don, the gambling podcast that comes out of this particular office Monday, Wednesday, Friday, currently has a 10-leg parlay rollover that's happening every night on Twitter. Hashtag FanDuel Hammered Don rollover. $500 up for grabs. That changes every night by $250, which is the dollar rollover per day, whereas a 10-leg parlay doesn't hit. So today is hashtag FanDuel Hammered Don rollover 500. That is how you enter. You type out a 10-leg parlay before the game start. Then if it hits, you remind everybody you win the jackpot. If nobody hits, and by the way, there has been thousands and thousands of entrants, and this thing has rolled all the way up to $1,000 thus far. We're hoping this thing will continue to roll, but the gamblers on the internet continue to hit. Today, $500 up for grabs. If nobody hits the 10-leg parlay today, $750.
Correct.
Then $1,000. Then $1,250, $15, $17, whatever you want to do. If you want to get in whenever this thing's up to $3,000, $4,000, that's all right. I do that with the Powerball as well. Just know that there's $250 up for grabs every single night with the Hammered Down podcast, which COVID Cowboy is the host of.
What's up? It's really cool. It's an awesome idea.
How are these motherfuckers hitting them, though?
I mean,
how people are hitting. We started at five. Then we went to 7. Then we went to 8 because people were just hitting them
every night.
It was like, all right, we got to work out some things with this goddamn rollover. All right, this is not doing what we thought it was going to do. Now we're at 10. People are still hitting 10-leg parlays via tweets that they definitely put out before the game because we actually check it, and then they have to tweet afterwards. It's like, hey, listen, I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you're from. But when FanDuel gets to wherever you're at, you are going to do some. Now, you're going to take some losses. But if you hit a 10-leg parlay, that's going to probably make up for a few months of whatever the fuck you want to do there.
1,000%.
Yeah, it's been awesome to kind of watch.
There's some breaking news.
Here we go.
Not that big because it's NBA. It's NBA. It's big for the NBA.
Oh, okay, big. All right.
I think it's big for the NBA.
A little juice.
That we talked about that scumbag Foxy and
whoa. The guy just got to win.
His city. Well, the Pistons are letting Blake Griffin go.
Oh, yeah, I heard he was negotiating a deal. He was going to buy out of his own contract.
And that happened. He's officially out of his contract.
So he pays the Detroit Pistons, get me the fuck out of here. This sounds eerily similar to a lot of situations that happen, you know, whenever teams or relationships come, and it's just like, get me out of here. I don't care what it costs. Do what you got to do. The Blake Griffin saga in Detroit has been interesting here because there hasn't been a lot of big news, and that's because it's the Pistons. Blake, I think, has tried to handle this in a way he's out of there now. Rival teams with interest are expecting Griffin to choose Nets as title favorite for a chance to win a championship. So if Blake Griffin, who just years ago, before he went to an island of irrelevance with the Detroit Pistons, where he got traded out of Los Angeles to Detroit, the man who was jumping over Kias and doing great stand-up comedy, legit, a man that seemed to be like blossoming as the next NBA superstar, he goes to Detroit, doesn't work out. Now he's going to the Nets. He's going to have James Harden throwing these things. And Blake, if he can still jump, which I'm assuming Blake can still jump, they're going to add a little Showtime factor to this thing. Now, Kyrie's already silky. Kevin Durant is unbelievable. James Harden is just, you know, he changes the way basketball is played whenever he plays basketball. Nobody really plays like him. And then you got the guy that's jumping over mascots. Now we're talking about a team. This is the team I want to see. This is the missing piece that I've been waiting for.
He's definitely going to a contender because there was other rumors that he's either going back to the Clippers or the Lakers too. So it seems like it's Nets, Clippers, Lakers. It's going to be.
With AD, you know, you bring Blake Griffin in there, all of a sudden it's LeBron and Blake Griffin. Here we go. Bron and BG.
I mean, this is why the NBA is the best. Because just...
That dude just bought his way.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, what's it?
You guys suck. Fuck this.
I'm done with it.
How many? How many millions? Let me out of here. Please, God, thank you. All right, where am I going? Who's going to win? They are. All right, I would like to go there. That is why the NBA is awesome. Now, I'd assume there's some fans, not a lot of Pistons fans out there, I assume.
No.
Now, shout out to the loyal ones that just got upset about that. The fact that you've been, that's pretty cool. You know, that's pretty cool because there was glory days.
Oh, yeah.
So you've probably seen good basketball, and now it's just been like, it's been what it has been. The fact that NBA players can just say, hey, take this, I'm gone, I'm going elsewhere. As a kind of fan, I love it. I just absolutely love it. The NFL is going to have this happen at some point, and people are going to hate it. But now that this is happening in the NBA, get Blake Griffin on a team that's on TV every once in a while.
And it's like the other teams that are doing it. It seems like if this happens in the NFL, like there's so many hoops to jump through in the NBA, they're just like, all right, fuck it, we'll just cut the last guy on the bench and get him in here. Sounds good.
Let's go to Robin in New York City. What's going on, Robin?
Pat, boys, it's Feel Good fucking Friday. Let's bring the energy into this.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, Robin. The first Robin I've ever, Batman Robin, obviously. The first Robin I've ever spoke to. How you doing, pal? What do you want to talk about?
If Deshaun eventually gets to the Jets, what other players do you think will come and join him? And what's a guy like me got to do to get one of those 45 gaming chairs in that office?
Robin, yes, we gave away 2 yesterday.
Too late, my friend.
We gave away 2 yesterday. Hashtag. How many do we have left?
I'm going to guess like 2 or 3 or maybe 4.
Extras
Yeah.
you were talking about? Because we have a lot that have now been put together and kind of scattered through there. Which
if we have to, we could actually just put those in boxes.
No, because I don't mind them. They've actually become pretty good little. Now, still too many. There's still too many, and we've shipped out 15 at this point. By the way, I know this is a good problem to have, I guess, for some people, but we got shipped an entire warehouse of chairs.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it happened, why it happened. I think Zito and Bailey were working angles or whatever. So they have been a nice addition. Like we've put, 5 out there, 6 out there. There's a couple recliners somehow.
Yeah.
These companies have done great things, and Mitt and Bill will put these together, and Zito will put them together. And it seemed like every day there for a while, there's a new one getting put together. And that was when you finally saw me go, okay, enough with the fucking chairs, all right? Because we used to have a full basketball court out here, and then we had all these gaming chairs basically just took up the entire. These boxes are fucking huge.
Massive.
They are massive that come in here.
You haven't played chair basketball yet?
No, well, see, that is something we have been able to add to the repertoire here because of how many chairs we had. But we gave away 2 yesterday.
Hell yeah.
I'm assuming we'll continue to give them away. People love them, man. And I know why, by the way, after sitting in them and experiencing them.
No desk, though. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, this is Zito finessing a desk. Listen, we don't need them. Okay, we will buy them.
Send them.
Do not send them.
Send everything
Think
you
about
got.
the boxes the fucking desks are going to be.
God.
They're smaller boxes. So they're more compact, so they're in pieces.
And the thing about it is, like, our fucking delivery people outside. These poor people.
Oh, yeah.
They're the nicest people of all time. They are Big Mike every single day, obviously.
Hell yeah.
But all of our delivery people are nice people all the time. The heartbreak in their eyes while they were moving these chairs in, I think it was like 4 degrees outside. They're looking at us like, why are you doing this? Do you not like us? And it's like, this is not us. But on the way out, by the way, guess who has to do the moving? We have to. So it's like, I feel bad for the delivery people that are doing this. But now we're becoming a fucking moving company too all of a sudden. Yeah. And we appreciate it. But we don't need any desks at this point.
No, I mean, you see these guys strapping on the weight belt before they have to, carry the stuff
James
inside.
Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, great. This guy hates us.
Did you see what he did, by the way? He put 5 plates on a belt. So 225 pounds. 45, 90, 180, 225. Yeah, 225 pounds, just plates strapped to a chain to his waist, 225 pounds. And he swung it over, and he gets on the dip thing.
Oh, yeah.
And he did like 6 of those things. That's like 5, what's he, 250? What's that? You do the math there.
Yeah,
475? 475 pounds he's just doing this. And now he's training for wrestling because I think he's in that show. I mean, whenever we talk about, maybe who we send to fight the aliens.
Yeah.
I do believe we do not mention James Harrison's name enough, and that is going to stop. I'm going to start mentioning his name a lot more for who I would like to see potentially have to fight for all of the humans. I think James Harrison, maybe a Brock Lesnar's always going to be up there, obviously, just because he's he's like an actual Viking or whatever. But James Harrison, I would like to be put into that conversation a little bit.
Well, because Brock and James, like, they're big and they're strong, and it's not like they seem to be like nice people. Like, they will take your head off.
Oh yeah, you think they have a certain aspect about them?
Well, there's like big, lovable human beings. Mm-hmm. Those two are not in that category.
Yeah, if they would understand hey, what we're fighting for here.
Correct.
You know what I mean? They would understand that the reason why they are potentially fighting together is to save all the other ones of us that are nowhere near what they are.
That's the guy. Brock is definitely a guy you want representing you going against the aliens. You walk by that guy and you just are left with a chill. There's a presence.
I shook his hand.
It's like shaking hands with a suitcase.
Oh my God. I shook his hand. Accident. Now, I've told the story about the Adrian Peterson handshake because Adrian Peterson is like a famed, very firm handshake or whatever. Had a chance to be a captain, same game he was. Went out there and I locked one in on him. Then we got one afterwards. He almost broke my hand or whatever. And I was like, all right, yeah, sorry, I dropped the ball. That's the ball I catch with, literally. The hand, I need that hand there. So I meet Brock Lesnar at Buffalo whenever we went up to do commentary there the night before Memphis's college game day because the WWE roster was having travel issues with their trip home from the Crown Jewel, which was in Saudi Arabia. So they weren't going to be able to. I mean, Mansouri was actually.
We had a lovely time in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Mansouri was actually in Saudi Arabia, and I was in Indianapolis, and there was a show in 8 hours, and this was pre-COVID. So I get a call like, hey, is there any way you can do this? I'm like, cool, yeah. We fly to Buffalo. Do SmackDown. As soon as I walk in, I have no idea what's going on. I'm being asked off. Mr. H is the person of contact there. So I go and I walk into the arena or whatever, and Mr. H is talking to Brock Lesnar over there. And I'm like, okay, like time is ticking here. I don't know what I'm doing at all. He said, come to me like immediately upon getting to the building. But he is talking to like fucking Brock Lesnar. So had to balance it a little bit, do the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of walked over and I gave like a subtle, like act like you're supposed to be here. I gave like one of those. And hey man, Triple H turns around, does his thing. And there was somebody else, he was like, I'll get you in like 1 minute, somebody else. So there was people waiting for that to break because as soon as he turned, by the way, he was like, talk to me. And then like 2 other people fired questions at him. Mm-hmm. So like I have to show massive respect here to a guy that for a long time and still to this day I say like, hey, if an alien is going to come kill me and my family, I'd like this guy to go fight for it. Mm-hmm. So it was like my chance to meet him. I go, sir, massive fan, my name's Pat or whatever. And he goes, oh, nice to meet you or whatever. And he does this thing in his hand. I had never been swallowed like that before. My hand has never in my entire life, that thing engulfed it. And I gave a shake, and then I just like turned back around to Zito and Foxy, and I was like, "Oh my!" I was right. That is the guy. That is the guy we go have fight the aliens. His hand is as big as my thigh. It was.
We almost called the Coast Guard.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. He is. You see him, and it's like, oh, that's a different fucking human right there. Okay, that guy can do whatever he wants. And by the way, he has proved that. Mm-hmm. He just. World champion
many times
in actual fighting, wrestling, like amateur wrestling, professional wrestling, fighting. I think he would have made it in football if he would have gave it like 4 years on the practice squad. Now, it would have been a lot of commitment, but let's assume he's athletic enough. He would have been able to figure that out. He would. I don't know what would. I mean, I assume he would have been pretty fucking good if he only focused on football. But yeah, that's the guy. James Harrison deserves a little bit more respect, though. Let's get to the phones here. Corey in New Mexico. What's going on, Corey?
Oh, what's going on, Pat and the boys? How you guys doing on this Feel Good Friday?
We feel even better knowing that we got the right guys. If we need to get into a fight in intergalactic war, we got the guys, James Harrison, Brock Lesnar. It's good news. Now, we have not confirmed with them, but we will be pitching the idea if it happens. What do you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, I got 2 things here. I got one, I see you becoming a Supercross fan, a motocross fan. They in Daytona tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on Peacock. The boys are invading into Daytona. They built it on the inside of the NASCAR track.
Oh, okay, nice. Can't wait to check it out. I assume that one little lunatic that broke his arm twice in one race is going to be there?
Yeah, he'll be back running, Christian Craig.
Nice. Hey, this dude's like 17 years old or something.
Good guy.
Like it.
They got a phenom right now over there.
Okay.
They got like an actual, right? Am I wrong or am I right now, Corey?
Yeah, Hunter Lawrence is 16, and then his brother is 18, and they're both killing it from Australia.
Like reckless. And like fucking we are going to go faster than everybody.
Willing to die every race.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, they're hitting these things, right? It's on like he said 7 p.m. on Peacock. Your late night, if you're somebody that doesn't sleep well like I am, that thing will be on somewhere and you just stop on there. And there is some maniacs on dirt bikes right now. I mean, it looks like Evel Knievel type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're hitting these things and they're just going full speed, and then somehow it looks like they landed on the other side, and it's like, well, let's fucking do it again. And they just do it like 6 times, and then it's like, all right, we got eight laps of that. It has become very interesting. What do you want to talk about other than that, though, or is that what you want to talk about?
No, so the other thing this morning on CBS, CBS Sports, they released another thing talking about the Ravens released them talking about their overtime rules and what they're trying to prospect, basically. And the NFL's taking it in accord and then looking at trying to change the overtime rules.
Yeah, Greg, Corey, so every year, fascinating that you brought this up, because this was something we should have definitely talked about earlier. So we appreciate him being a better producer of the show than me, basically, but because this is pretty big news. Right now, we're in a time where teams are tasked with creating new rules or changing rules so that we can keep the game evolving, keep the game entertaining. For a long time, it was fixing the extra point. Okay, the ideas that were getting pitched out and thought about, there was actual, thought meetings happening in each building to come and propose. And a lot of these rules changes that you hear about will never happen. They're just, because the teams are tasked with changing rules are being pitched now to make the game better. So at one point, the extra point was going to be a 60-yard field goal, by the way. That was during these rules proposals. Like, those are things that were being talked about, And obviously, we were asked by some people in the building, they're tasking us with trying to reimagine the extra point, basically. What would be a good idea? And I was being a complete asshole, right? And I was like, hey, how in rugby, if you score from the side, you got to kick from the side. And then, why not add a stage there? You know what I mean? Lift that thing up, maybe some smoke, some lights, and have it just be the kicker with a holder, has to kick it from an angle. You can sell tickets around there, kind of kick from that whole thing, and maybe have music play while it's going on. That's what I'm talking about. And the person was like, okay, I'll write that down, and walked away. Vinatieri has never been more mad at me. Vinatieri has never, ever been more. He said, what if that gets pitched? Could you imagine if that actually happens? I'm like, there's no way they're going to pitch that. And then I started hearing some rules that are being pitched. It was like 60-yard extra point, kick from the side like rugby. And I'm like, oh, maybe. I would be excited if this one would get pitched out there. So a lot of the rules you're hearing are just literally getting thrown out because it's just it's a thing that happens. It's like a part of the game. It's like, hey, let's continue to evolve. Now, there's a lot of rules that we all wish would get changed. And it seems like a lot of rules kind of slide by every time these meetings happen. But it feels like there is an overwhelming support right now by coaches, and the Ravens are reintroducing it, something that will affect our game mightily right now. And I'm not talking about the overtime propose what yard line you start and then the other person picks offense or defense overtime proposal. I have an answer for that, and it involves field goals. I'm talking about an offensive lineman kicking field goals as well. So if we want to make it interesting, let's go ahead and do it. What I'm talking about is the sky judge, okay? 1 year ago, there was a rule being pitched out. I forget who it was. This year it's the Ravens, so let's assume it was the Ravens last year, about a ref basically sitting up in the press box, reviewing things on the fly and having the direct ear of the referee on the field. Now, people hate this. There's some people that absolutely hate it. It doesn't make any sense to me that people hate it, but you can hear and understand why people hate it. They think the game is going to take forever. Okay, the review things already take too long. It slows down the game, yada, yada, yada. I can understand where that is. They say the VAR in soccer rarely works. It's kind of the similar thing. Yeah, but they still stop the game and there's an entire process. What I think is if you get some people up there that are relative, maybe ex-players, good ex-players up there, and just like how the XFL had old buddy on the Xbox using the controller, showing the replay with the sound from the replay official down to the ref on the field, it was an expedited process. The fans understood why the play or why the call was made. They understand everything, and it just moves everything more efficiently. The NFL can figure that out. You can get an ex-player who's up there watching everything, or an ex-referee, whatever the case is, with a direct line to the ref and just be like, pick up the flag. This is a no call. Just on the spot, we see it Every time you watch football, you watch one replay before they even get to commercial, and they're like, nah, that's not. And then you got to get to the other side. We're reviewing it. Oh, my God, it takes an entire thing. If we can just get somebody up there that just goes, nah, pick it up, that's bullshit. And you're like, oh, I'm being told right now, actually, that is not true. We apologize, and third down or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that would be huge, especially with the holding calls. Holding calls completely stop a drive, especially with the roughing the passer that is allegedly up for potential review. It should be everything should be up for review. Everything, if it can be fixed, if it is a call that potentially fucks over not only the game, a season, a career, jobs, it should be able to be fixed if it can be fixed, if we have the technology to do it. And if we can find the people, now I know that's the biggest thing, if we can find the people that can review the shit quick, be, decision makers, know the rules, and just be like, nope, pick up the flag, move on. And it's just, I think it could all move much quicker and be better, but sometimes you have to deal with, good ideas being in the hands of the people that can't handle the current Ferrari that they're sitting in. Maybe it's the people doing the reviewing, not necessarily the thought of doing the reviewing. And that's always been my stand. I hope the Sky Judge thing goes into play this year. That'd be fantastic for the game of football.
Yeah, the only pushback you're going to get is if it is like reviewing, holding, and defensive holding and stuff like that, is people are going to say it's going to take forever, but you're saying get someone in there who could do it quickly.
If it takes forever, don't overturn it. Yeah. If it's the things that take forever, it's like, okay, well then there's obviously a question. If there's a question, then either keep the rule as it is or do something. Like, I just feel like, and this is something we never talk about. You always talk about players in big moments. Everybody's like, this guy, when the lights come on, he does better or does worse, right? Never talk about coaches. Never ever talk about coaches who potentially shy away in a big moment. Never gets judged, never gets talked about. It's always like strategy scheme. It's like, well, maybe also coach fucked up there and just choked in the moment. Mm-hmm. Never talk about refs potentially doing that. But you can take that all the way up to the reviewers too, that are scared to potentially make a big fuck up here. Oh my God, how you doing? So you got to be able to have the right person making those decisions. But I think it can happen, and I would like I would like it for the game. I would like it for the game, especially, with the amount of money that's being gambled on them now.
Yeah, like you said, you just have to trust that person upstairs, because what's happened with VAR in soccer is there was a VAR ref that was making the calls. It wasn't the actual official, and now they've changed it because they've gotten so many wrong that the actual official goes to the television now and then makes the call.
And this is, I don't want to disrespect refs, okay? I don't at all right? But I assume that there is a way you could teach former players that are fast acting, know the game. You could teach them all the rules. Like, there is very rarely a rule, even the obscure ones that pop up on a game that I don't know. Okay. And I feel like I'm pretty well versed in the rules. Something will pop up and it's like, oh, I did not know that clause of that rule at that thing. I assume the process of going through to be an entire ref is very difficult. Okay, I assume it's a lot of dedication, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of travel, not a lot of money. People hate you. Like, I'm not disrespecting that at all. But it doesn't have to be a ref that's up there reviewing it. You can get former player, maybe coaches. I still think maybe if they're worth a shit, they're probably a little bit too old. But I'm talking like former players, and they don't have to be great players, by the way. Just guys that maybe knew the game or anything. I feel like that's a position that they should take seriously, because it could really change the game.
You think at the very least it would eliminate all the really egregious calls that they don't have a place to.
Yeah, like that the Saints-Rams pass interference.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to that because it changed the rule, and then it wasn't treated anywhere. And by the way, we yelled at Alberto Riveron all year because I'm a big advocate for this. I want reviews to happen, and how can everybody at home watch a review, pick something very quickly, and all agree on it, which nobody ever does. The internet will agree on something, and then the people that are in charge don't say that. It's like, maybe they're out of touch then. Maybe it's not the rule, maybe it's the execution of the entire rule. And it turns out Alberto Riveron was actually being tasked with a harder judgment on the review of certain calls, so it wasn't really a fair standard. Well, then take that away. Like, just do the make sense, like have it make sense. And I think more people will like it. The game would be better. I don't know, man. They got to fucking fix some stuff with that, though. They have to. I'm tired. Pass interference, that loses games. I mean, it definitely wins games, all right? It wins games and everything like that. But it loses games, which, for kickers and punters and everything like that, and bottom of the roster, like, that jeopardizes a lot of things. And the ref is just a very respected position. But we're at the point now where the entire world is in a better position to make calls than the refs are. It's time to, why not just allow, that thing to be the same, you know what I mean? Give them what we got. Because they're actually determining the motherfucking game out there.
Yeah. And you already have an existing model that has shown, like, hey, this is effective, it's quick, it's efficient, it works.
Feels like the XFL potentially just listened to everybody on the internet that has complained about this for a long time and said, let's give it a go. Guess what? Smashing success.
Yeah.
Just like the Skycam you guys still use. Skycam XFL, Sky Judge XFL, whatever the case, we're making the game better.
Yeah.
And that's why Dwayne The Rock Johnson's going to work harder than everybody in the room.
Hell yeah.
Guaranteed.
Let's go to the phone, shall we? Let's go to Brady in Pittsburgh. What's going on, Brady?
Hey, what's going on, Pat and the boys? Special shout out to Zito for everything he's done these last couple of days.
Hey, boy Z. I'm boy Z.
Send desks.
Yes, I was going to talk about. I don't think we've talked about Ryan Fitzpatrick enough this past couple of days, and I think he's going to end up in Houston when Deshaun Watson holds out.
Oh, Brady, he did say, hey, listen, I'm not a guy that has options, all right? If a team wants me, I'm here. If Ryan Fitzmagic ends up down there in Houston, that would be the most Ryan Fitzmagic move of all time. That's what Fitzmagic has always been tasked upon, is coming in here where you're a stopgap between things. We don't know what we're doing yet, but we need you to win some games, which is what Fitzmagic will always do. He has said that there's been a couple times in his long career where he felt as if the team was actually like, hey, this is his team. Most situations, though, where Fitzmagic comes in, it's a 1-year deal, 2-year deal. We have no fucking idea what's going on, but we need you in here for good leadership. Him in Houston, I mean, they'll win games. They will win games with Fitzmagic at quarterback, and I assume he would go there.
I saw an article this morning that had him going to New England, and I would love that because it would end and finish his AFC East tour, play for every single AFC East team, and him and Belichick together would be awesome.
It would be awesome. And they'd have every conversation recorded. Isn't it interesting that the team that is so secretive, the Patriots, seem to have the most documented footage about them behind the scenes? Every one of these new clips that come out from a Bill Belichick, Tom Brady meeting, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. And it's awesome that they chose to record. It's like, you know what I mean? Like whenever they were in the middle of what they were doing, somebody either told them or they realized like, hey, this is probably never going to happen again. We should probably get all this on camera. Who owns it? The NFL.
Yeah.
Well, who gets to agree on when it comes out? Bill Belichick. Okay, yeah, we can definitely record it. Because I wonder what else they have. You know what I mean? They have footage of everything up there.
I would imagine it's a pretty massive library.
That NFL Films library is in Philadelphia. I guess the vault in the NFL Films thing is like they always, anytime you meet somebody who's ever been at NFL Films, which, by the way, they're like the 33rd owner of the NFL. They are incredible. They always go, have you been to the vault yet? Have you been to the vault? It's like every football fan's dream is the vault. It's like, I've not been there, but I've heard it's awesome. I would assume there is an entire section of behind the scenes at the Patriots stuff. Let's hope they keep it going if there is a Fitzmagic Bill Belichick union up there.
Yeah, I mean, they're smart enough to know, like, hey, what's going on here right now is pretty special. Let's get as much content of this as we can.
Let's go to Alex in Alabama. Alex, War Eagle?
Fuck no.
I'm sorry. Roll Tide, Alex.
Roll Tide. Let's start off first with Adam Cole stinks.
Yeah. Alex, I'll tell you what, I like you coming in here just speaking the truth like that, pal. Roll Tide now, huh?
And then let's roll to, what's your hate for Mac Jones?
Whoa.
The man throws dimes.
Whoa, Roll Tide.
Talking sunshine.
Oh, Alex.
You don't have hate.
No one's ever said anything bad about Mac Jones on here.
I think he's saying because I have, he's being compared to Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a lot. Okay, that's a lot being compared to Tom Brady. I've said he's only had 1 year of success. By the way, so did Joey Burrow. Okay, he's a guy that has come out of nowhere in the conversation by all the quarterback gurus. They're like, hey, we didn't really get to know this guy much during the season, even though Sarkisian and the boys down there were putting up massive numbers. Mac Jones is a hell of an NFL player, it looks like. He's going to be able to transition well. I don't think I'm just pointing out that everybody's falling in love with him currently. I don't think I'm a hater at all. No. Can he move? Who knows? Maybe he'll be able to move. But if he gets to a team that has a good offensive line, it does seem like he can sling the ball around the yard. And they said down at the Reese's Senior Bowl, he picked up the offense quicker than anybody in history. Well, that's because Najee Harris told us that it was actually their offense that they were running down there. So him already being in an NFL offense for a year with Steve Sarkisian, him doing well at the Senior Bowl, him the film looking good. I assume, Jesus, I felt like I almost had a stroke coming out of my guts there. It seems like he is going to be a good NFL quarterback, but my entire talk is, how come nobody realized this all year? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was not it was Justin Fields. Trey Lance was getting talked about.
Yeah.
The guy who only had one game behind Trevor Lawrence. Now it's like, no, Mac Jones is the guy. Zach Wilson's the guy. It's like, okay, all right, I'm in on everybody, but only a few of them are going to make it here. And probably only one is really going to go and take off. I'm excited to see which one it is.
Well, and this is not Mac Jones' fault at all. But Alabama has not had a good NFL quarterback since Broadway Joe.
Well, and if you're listening to the current players, the most recent Alabama quarterback wasn't.
They don't think he's very good either.
I think he stinks.
Hey, listen, I know what's going on. Like, Mac is the dude, though. That is, by the way, great for Mac Jones. I like that Alex likes Mac Jones. I like that Mac Jones is it seems like he does have personality, okay? If you look, and I'm a Mac Jones fan. I am simply talking about the reaction to Mac Jones as opposed to Mac Jones himself.
Well, it is tough, too. I mean, obviously, he's going to, wherever he goes, he's going to have talent. But, you play at Alabama, you got both your receivers going to get drafted in the first round. Your running backs yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like you're basically playing on an NFL team in college.
Let's go to Chad down there in New Orleans. Chad, what's going on, pal? Just cut my favorite part.
What's happening, Pat?
Hey, just hanging out, Chad. Good to hear from you. Is this Chad? Oh, Chad.
Chad.
Yeah.
Chad.
Yeah. What's up, boys?
Jail Chad?
Yeah.
My guy! Great to hear from you again, Chad. Hey,
it's prison Chad, bro. It ain't jail. Jail's not nothing. Prison is bad.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. Prison Chad.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. I want to make sure. Let's get the respect level.
Yeah. Yesterday I tried to win some of y'all shit, but I got put in prison. I mean, I got put in Twitter jail.
What'd you do?
Well, they said I threatened somebody, but the law, they always lying, so I don't believe them.
What were they lying about?
You just got caught up. Hey, you just got caught up, Prison Chad. Twitter.
Hey, I ain't a criminal, baby. I just got caught up.
Yeah, that's right. You see what had happened was. What do you want to talk about?
Well, according to my sources, the Saints fired their cap manager, Bernie Madoff. And they start the season with 3 footballs, 1 trainer, 1 tuba bingy, and a coach's whistle.
Chad is talking about the New Orleans Saints situation. There is a lot of cap problems down in the Bayou. Now, Thomas Morstead, 12-year punter, absolute son, a man who taught me how to punt, basically. Good guy, bomber. He did not have his best year last year. He got cut. And that just came a day or two after me realizing that he was probably going to get cut. It felt like more Cameron Johnson, baller for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a Australian punter, went to the Ohio State, bombs footballs. He just got released from Philadelphia. Will Lutz had to renegotiate his contract. Now that is Prison Chad's New Orleans Saints team, but kickers and punters are starting to get the axe with this salary cap hell that a lot of teams are in. And the Saints are damn near the top of the salary cap hell right now.
It's sad what's happening to the no respect for the specialist right now.
None. Have you been around? Yeah. You still got it? Maybe. Last year you didn't. Fucking cut him. See ya. You make kicks? Sometimes, right? Yep. Get the fuck out of here. You're going to see Zito might be kicking for somebody next year.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be min for a lot of teams kicking and punting. And I'm excited for it, by the way, because I think it is going to potentially, bring some eyeballs to a position that is, there's some good guys out there that you might have to pay $300,000 more a year for or whatever.
Yeah. You saw it in the Super Bowl.
But there's also, Tommy Townsend. He's probably.
Bye-bye. I mean, J.K. Scott might want to consider playing for a couple gift cards to Culver's. Otherwise, he's probably out of town.
Hey, Culver's, though.
Yeah. They love it in Wisconsin. I love it here, too.
Let's go to Wayne in Texas. Wayne, what's going on, bub?
Hey, what's going on, Pat?
Hey, how you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing all right, man. Down here in Texas, we free, full sin.
Wide open, by the way. Has that started yet? When's that start?
It's supposed to start Wednesday, but, if you're not a yuppie in a big city, COVID really never showed up down here. We just didn't live in the past year, man.
Yeehaw.
I did realize that down in Florida there, there has been some people that they didn't. Some people I do believe have never heard. They might have heard at the beginning, but then they just chose never. I think there are some people, and Wayne seems like he is potentially a part. It does feel like there are some towns around the country here that didn't even know. Fuck it. Yeah, I got to go get this. I got 14 head of cow out here that I got to fucking figure out. All right, I ain't worried about that over there. I think there's a lot of that going on. And Texas being wide ass open now, you're going to see business. Dana White, I guess, is trying to get down there to be the first one that sells something out. I assume there's going to be more and more and more. And then the reaction to that reaction is what I am here for. What do you want to talk about, Wayne?
Yeah, man. Hey, we got to talk about the McAfee slaughterhouse going on right now. We got Van Noy on 2 weeks ago, cut. Talk about Morstead, cut. If I'm a current athlete about to be on the show, I'll be looking over my shoulder about my job right now.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers wins the MVP. Wayne? Wayne? Jeez Louise.
What the hell's that about?
What was that all about, Wayne?
They said there's going to be a bloodbath. There's nothing you can do about it.
Can't stop a massacre, dude.
You know what?
We're tied in.
Hopefully one day we are known as the people that stop a massacre someday.
Would be nice.
Speaking of which, 251st anniversary of the Boston Massacre today.
What do we know?
A couple colonials in Boston stood up to the redcoats.
Didn't go well.
Soldiers killed a couple of them. And that was basically what started the uprising. They're like, all right, get these fucking redcoats out of town.
Shot her around the world.
That's right.
Oh, not until you see the whites in their eyes. Is that one?
Basically.
I mean, no, but that is a tactic that they had to use with the muskets.
That was not that particular
That is not that particular
That
moment.
was coming up a hill.
Yeah, that might have been Fort Wayne.
John Wayne, too. Big history show.
It didn't go well for the Bostonians, but in the end,
they set the tone.
It worked out for all of us.
Rest in peace. Shout out to them.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Boston.
I watched The Crown.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we could have done that a lot earlier. You know what I mean? The whole
uprising.
The fact that Canada just never got in is wild to me. Because they would do trips, and go see all the countries that are kind of the thing, and then it would just be like they go say hello and like we love you, and then hop right on a plane and get the hell out of there or whatever. And Canada was like, that's good enough for us. You know what I mean? That's about enough for us. What happened?
No idea, my friend.
Gumpy, you think? Where are your people? No, it can't be. Obviously, people came to Canada. Fucking idiot, dude. Let's get to a break. Like he's not a native. Are you
native Canadian? He could
Nah,
be.
What are those Inuit?
Came from England and Scotland, my family.
England, huh?
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
Hey, when we played over there,
great.
That the whole place singing it. Mm-hmm. They had an opera singer singing it down on the field, hands behind the back, yell, and then you're sitting there, and I'm a observant national anthem person,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking around, and the place is just belting it like loud as they can. It's like holy shit, and then ours comes on. Couple people just go right to a knee. It's like much different.
Yeah, hear a mouse in there.
Much different vibe here at this particular place. We got to get to a break. Phone calls on the other side of this Pat McAfee Show. Feel Good, Friday, March 5th, 2021. Wayne. All the coaches allegedly are pushing for the Sky Judge review system where somebody is in the booth. Just what XFL had, by the way. I assume the NFL would never have that type of transparency because they can't have everything that's being said from Sky Judge to ref be heard publicly for whatever reason, because there's a lot more eyes on the NFL and who knows what other reason. I liked what the XFL did. I actually said, I think on the field, I was standing on the field of the XFL game while it was happening. And I said, the NFL should pick this up immediately. I think I even said that, like this is something, because the review system has been flawed. Mm-hmm. The review system has been something that nobody has really understood. And the coaches, by the way, these are the people that are getting fired because of bad reviews. These are the people who aren't getting paid. These are the people that are studying film, and it seems like they're on meth watching film for 19 hours. And then for some reason, the play that they've drawn up for I don't know, this particular moment gets called back because of a blown call, and then they're like, well, let's review it, and then it gets on. You see coaches going after refs for good reason, because the coaches are at the point where they're like, hey, you guys are ruining what we are trying to do here, right? And players are obviously mad, but players seem to get scrutinized a lot more whenever they go after refs, which I never understood. I was somebody that loved talking to refs and after refs, but I was always told I shouldn't do that. But coaches are the ones being directly affected by this more so than anybody else. And they're like, we saw the XFL work. Let's do that. Let's take Alberto Riveron out of this thing. Let's put sky judges in. And the NFL is like, we'll try it during preseason, which means it'll probably come in next year. Mm-hmm. If they're trying it in this preseason, they'll do an entire year review on what we liked, what we didn't like. They'll overanalyze, and then they'll bring it in hopefully the next season, which, by the way, shout out to the XFL for doing something that everybody has said would be a good idea for a long time, doing it, making it work, and now hopefully coming into the NFL and fixing the big league.
As long as the sky judge isn't Alberto Riveron.
Can't be. He cannot be one of the sky judges.
No.
I would assume Flores, who's Peyton, Bruce Arians. Those seem to be the biggest chirpers to the refs, I believe, those three. They're probably pretty loud in saying, no Alberto Riveron in my not in our stadium. He's not going to be the sky judge in our stadium. If he is, we're going to ice him out like it's Wolf of Wall Street when they're trying to go through the taxes. This next song is called Tornado by Who Are You? Ooh. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
It's coming. Grab your ankles.
Hold on to the cars. Have you ever seen the movie Twister? It's getting a bit windy out here. Got some warm weather, cold weather, meeting great green. There's a problem. It's a tornado. There's a problem. Do we want it? Hell no. This song goes hard. Yeah, the beat goes ham, and it's so fucking breezy. I can't even stand. Gotta go to the basement, away from all the windows. Cause if I'm near them, then I will fucking feel those. But the wind is the glass, and the glass will break. How much can the house fucking take? Just a couple months ago, I was standing outside, right next to my beautiful wife, when we heard a fucking train about to come through the trees, and we sprinted to the basement, almost made me fucking pee, because the breeze was coming. Yeah, I like this one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. That one's pretty good.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back. This is probably Bill.
Yeah,
it's probably
about
listening.
that time.
This feels like, hey, fuck you, Bill. Not Billy Toops. Talking about Dushnik. Feel Good Friday is brought to you by CBDMD. More specifically, their CBD PM products, both a dropper, a tablet, and a sleep bath salt that they have. Right now, you can go to CBDMD.com, promo code McAfee, MCAFEE, and get 25% off your purchase of superior CBD products from CBDMD. That's Marty Vicks with Manakee.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish Marty Vicks would release some new music, because there is some new music out today. Kings of Leon released an album. Listened to a couple of the songs, haven't heard the whole album. Will withstand from judgment until I do. Drake released a few songs, one with Ricky Ross called a Lemon Pepper Freestyle. All right.
LeBron loves it.
LeBron loves it. I assume there is a lot of people that love it. I just want Drake to, just one time, that old Drake. That straight from the go Drake.
That's right.
The chop up the soul Drake.
Boom.
set on my goals, Drake. Because now Drake is just so talented. He makes all these songs, basically not for me. You know, these songs are not for me. He wants to fill up arenas and arenas of ladies. Which, by the way, Drake, you do your thing. And Mitt and Foxy.
Correct.
But that's Marty Vicks. I wish, though, you know, and also Bruno Mars
Shout out, Bruno.
put out an absolute
Smooth.
a Bruno Mars. That's what Bruno Mars does. Biebs put out a song that sounded like teenage Biebs a little bit. It was a little bit of a throwback Biebs as opposed to the new, you know, kind of like rap. It was more like a teenage Biebs pop song. Hold on, it goes.
He seems happy. He seems happier.
He does.
His last album was a little depressing, but it was good.
You know why?
Because he's married? Or?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Boom.
Fucking read a caption.
Come on.
Just one caption, dude.
Does he have an IG?
Does Justin Bieber have an IG? Guys, how do I know Calvin Klein's got underwear?
Does God pray?
No, actually, we pray to God, so.
Really? That's interesting, though. Does God take a knee and everything comes to him?
Now you've opened a can of worms, Z.
Does he Tebow? Does God Tebow and then all the prayers just come to him?
I think he just
Gets him on his phone.
sits on like a little marble thing and they just are fed right to him. Yeah.
All right, here's somebody from Albuquerque, Germany.
Bring it in. Bring it in.
Hey, speaking of bringing it in, Snyder with the Washington football team. Seems like that is going out. I don't think there's anything going. It feels like the more and more that is being talked about. Remember, last offseason, there was no way Snyder was going to still own the Washington football team. There was no way, by the way, they were going to change their name, and there was no way Snyder was going to remain the owner. Then they changed the name. Expose comes, new name comes, whole new culture shift comes. Other owners, the minority owners of the Washington football team, are trying to force out Dan Snyder as there was alleged like court documents that were happening. Dan Snyder says, I ain't going nowhere. That story has regained some energy with the Junkies, which is a morning show in Washington, D.C., Junks Radio. The Junks Radio have obtained information from the 130-plus page, okay, that's a rather substantial book, 130-plus page of the NFL investigation into the Washington football team. The top recommendation is force the owner to divest his ownership of the team. This is per EB Junkies, one of the hosts of Junks Radio. They had a follow-up tweet that said, the second recommendation in the report, if the NFL doesn't want to force the sale, suspend the owner for a significant period to allow time to repair its infrastructure and culture. So the top two recommendations to fix the Washington football team in the NFL's eyes, allegedly according to the Junks Radio in D.C., which is the a morning show in D.C. that has obtained an article, is we need to get this guy the fuck out. Okay, we need to get him, or we need to suspend him so that he can't ruin it. We need to protect his team from him. We need to suspend him, let Jason Wright and the others that have been in there to try to rebuild that place. Very interesting. Obviously, there's a man who stepped down as the president or whatever of the single most successful company of all time, Amazon, which owns the Washington Post that is there in D.C., who wrote the articles. Jeff Bezos now with the Amazon Prime deal that is going to give him games exclusively on Prime, NFL games. And now it is said that not only does he want NFL games, it's always been said he wants an NFL team. Is the NFL realize this? They're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get Dan Snyder out of here? Because it seems like he's not going to be able to. They do an investigation, get his ass out, let's suspend him. It feels like Jeff Bezos is coming to the NFL in a rather large way. And I'll tell you what, that's good for the league to have the richest human walking this earth to be investing in it and be a part of it. The Amazon Prime world is going to grow, I think, even more in the NFL world, which is good for your boys potentially, and also the Washington Prime. Not a terrible name. People have already started pitching it out there in this whole thing.
I hadn't even thought of that. That is a pretty good name.
Yeah. Well, think about Snyder, though. He owns a team. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, basically. Then all of a sudden, within 1 year, it's like, oh, no, new team name. Oh, no. Now the other owners are like, well, we'll suspend you for what, 3-4 years? That's how long it's going to take to rebuild this place that you ruined. Oh, fine, I'll do it. Oh, you're also not going to get paid. All right, how much is Bezos buying this? That's kind of what's going on. It feels like we have to get to a hard out here. The Washington Prime, not a bad name.
Not at all. Do you think, is this different than the report investigation they did last year previously when they were talking about him having to sell a team? Like, do you think he's actually worried and thinks like, okay, I'm going to have to get rid of this?
So the previous report was the other owners. The other owners of the Washington football team. That is the last we had heard about this. It was them trying to get him out legally. It was like a legal thing because of what they did to the business and everything like that. Now it seems like the NFL has investigated it. Now this is all if this is true, what is being told.
Right.
Maybe it is. Or maybe this is more like trying to get his ass out. Anyways, Hour 2 is wrapping up on this Feel Good Friday, March 5th, 2021. Ariel Helwani and AJ Hawk will join us in the third hour. This is the Pat McAfee Show on SiriusXM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Just checking your availability. If you're in Indianapolis now, did you get to Buffalo?
Yeah, I got a plane that's supposed to take me down to game day anyways, so I could definitely have it go to Buffalo first. How long is the flight from Indy to Buffalo? You can find us a plane for like 4 o'clock. I think that'll be perfect.
The best we can do is depart around 5:30.
Okay, do we have any other, can you find any other planes that can get us out of here earlier than that? I was just asked if I could appear in Buffalo within the next 4 hours to basically do the show on Fox tonight.
Okay, I'll call you back.
You know what I'm asking for?
Yeah.
All right, so he's gonna call Jim Irsay and see if I can just use Jim's jet. He's calling me back shortly, but just start packing. Hey. You're the absolute best. Does this sound like a potential yes you're saying? He's the fucking best. I would be so thankful. Hey, this is really cool. I don't know how many billionaires would do this for people that have worked for them in the past. This is awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough. Can I take a kendo stick to his back?
We'll talk about it when you get here.
All right, I appreciate you, man. Hey, let's break the fucking internet tonight. What a hilarious life. We are live on Fox in 6 hours and 35 minutes. 3 hours of sleep, no clue what the storylines are. Just fucking let the nuts swing, bro. Let's just go out there and have a good time. Plane company. I know. Here we go, boys. All right. Talk SmackDown tonight. This is going to be a night we're going to look back on and remember. And then we're going to hop on a plane and head to Memphis for College Game Day. I think this is a joke too. I just want to let you know, like, this is the Truman Show. I very much understand that this is not supposed to happen. I got the text at 1:42 p.m. today from Mr. H that says, "Have you heard there have been some travel issues? Can you make your way to Buffalo?" Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts, literally lent me his plane. Might be the most confident I've ever been on in something. I didn't know we were that good of friends, to be honest. I was throwing a Hail Mary, and he responded and said, yeah. So I got here about an hour and a half before the show, and to work with Renee, Tom, and be on SmackDown with a bucket of makeup on my face. This has been a dream come true bucket list type situation here in beautiful Buffalo, New York. Come on, boys, we're going to be on cable.
Here by Pat McAfee, replacing our guest commentator Aiden English.
No sleeves in, George. Good to see you.
It feels good here in Buffalo. I got a text from the game, a cerebral WWE official. He said, hey, you might have heard about the travel issues. Can you make it to Buffalo? I said, absolutely. What a magical evening it is, November 1st, 2019. I mean, let's be honest. The Marine was a heater. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a great actor. He was great on The Real World. He was great on all of that. Tegan, That's how they do it in NXT, baby. Almost took me out holding another grown lady in the air. November 1st, 2019, greatest SmackDown in the history of SmackDown. Pat, you joining us? It might absolutely be correct the way things have gone here tonight. Greatest SmackDown in the history of SmackDowns, November 1st, 2019. It's documented. I had a good time out there, man. I had no idea what was happening, so it's really just a natural reaction to everything. That was awesome, dude. That's a real bucket list thing. Game day bucket list. This is like complete bucket list. 2 in 1 week. Oh yeah. Put a horseshoe shoved up my ass and a horseshoe owner lending us a plane. Are you kidding me, dude?
Pretty big breaking news.
Oh,
no.
What's that? Oh, he got got. Oh, he got got. He got got. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Tony. Gordon Chester. We got to get to a goddamn break. Can't happen. Can't win with it. Everything I just said was wrong.
It would have been cool though if it was.
Yeah, it would have been cool, wouldn't it? Dick just got it, darn Schefter.
Oh my
It was at Ultra Weed Hater.
He got cockinerd.
What was it doing on my timeline?
Bro, McCockner's just jujuing on me.
Shinigami fighting out of Lancaster, California.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. It is Feel Good Friday, March 5th, 2021, years after zero. Hour 3 where the Super Bowl champ will begin right now. That Super Bowl champ, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, how you doing, huh?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Hey, it's good to see you. I put shorts on today, like house shorts. I wore my house shorts in here. I don't know if you've seen them, AJ. I've worn my house shorts here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never, ever do this. This is literally something I never do. I think the boys have probably seen me in sweats outside of my house one time, probably. I wear jean shorts. I have a strict, you leave the house, okay? This is with me. There's like 2 different modes you got to be. Like, we're going to work. Okay, put the pants on. Even if they're jorts, we're going to work. Today, wearing these house shorts might have changed me. I tell you what, I feel pretty comfy with the legs flying around. You don't even really see it on the thing at all. You haven't really seen it at all. I'm maybe about to become a full-on bum out here. Ty, you've dressed this way for a long time.
Yeah.
I see why you do this.
Exactly. I mean, I wore jeans a couple days this week. I woke up this morning. I said, you know what? Fuck it. No one sees my legs on camera. I'm going to put my sweatpants on. It's a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, so that's
Casual Fridays.
That's my day right now. That's what we got going on. How are you doing, AJ?
I'm doing well. I don't wear jeans unless I guess I really have to. And for what I do, for the most part, day to day, I don't really have to wear jeans.
I know. And by the way, it was something where I was judged by my teammates because NFL locker room, maybe biggest sweats at workplace of all time. Maybe of all time. AQ actually has, when he goes home, he just takes his sweats off and his Crocs off. Okay, and his Crocs are at the bottom of them. And then the next morning, he just wakes up, same exact pair, boom. And he does that for an entire season, okay? That's what he does for an entire season. That's like how, by the way, Retro Force, no big deal. How you doing? Keep it moving. Ting, pow, boom. Anyways, so big sweats at workplace. I always had pants on. Always did it because I felt like that made me feel as if, I was going to work or whatever. I think I was mistaken, though. I think I should have done this the entire time. I feel pretty good here, AJ.
Yeah, you should have. And when you're playing in the league, I guess people would probably be surprised to hear that sometimes throughout the week, guys will wear the same clothes for 5 straight days because you don't really have them on. You show up at the facility early in the morning, you change instantly into your gear. Then I would always put my undershirts, my underwear, my socks, everything in my bag. I always had them wash some of my personal stuff as well. I'd throw it in there with my football stuff.
Smart.
Then,
smart.
End of the day, though, but think about it.
Wasting laundry detergent.
But you shower up at the end of the day, put those clothes that you had on at 6 in the morning, go home, and then you go to bed shortly after it probably, like you barely have them on.
Yeah, AQ, you said 5 days. AQ went 4 straight months. And it was getting alarming. Because he was right next to me. And like 3 weeks, you probably don't really notice, but once you get past like the month straight of wearing something, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I mean, never." Just what AJ just did. He was like, "Never wear them. I wear them in. I'll do the whole thing." And then I'm like, "Well, it smells like at this point that you have, but that's the NFL or whatever." So it has been a good little Friday. It has been a good little Friday with the shorts and everything like that. No real news. More kickers are getting released, which is just heartbreaking. Russell Wilson wants out of town, it sounds like. Yeah. It's getting ugly over there, AJ. Hey, it's getting ugly in Seattle with sources and anonymous quotes and everything like that. It's pretty cool. I mean, we're right in the middle of it with Rossini's thing yesterday. Yeah. But this is getting wild, AJ.
I wonder, I've had multiple people ask me yesterday, actually, hey, do you really think this, do you believe any of this Russell Wilson stuff? And I wonder, like, what people think. Do people truly believe that this is Russ doing this and he wants out?
Well, Russ could have came out and said this, right? Yeah. He could have come out now at this point. Kind of Mark Rodgers, right? His agent has already spoken to Schefter, so we know that Schefter and his agent have a relationship. All these things could get dispelled, and they're not. So that makes us question. Now, just like I said yesterday, this is not fair, okay, that Russell Wilson has to come out and potentially say that bullshit that was just created to be bullshit, basically, which is what this would all be if this was all a fugazi or whatever. I understand that's not fair for us to have to do that, but if he's allegedly one of the top quarterbacks of all time, this is the type of shit that's potentially comes alongside of it. Like, It's not fair to him to have to answer if this is all just completely fake bullshit.
He started it, but Russell started it, so this isn't like some, allegedly, but he could easily come to spell. I guess I was surprised yesterday. I was caught off guard. That I just assumed, well, yeah, of course, Russ hasn't come out and denied it. This is like his team.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe it 100%. Russ is sick of what's going on in Cleveland or in Seattle, and it seems like there's a rift between he and Pete was his guy for so long. So yeah, of course I believe it, but I had multiple people that maybe they didn't want to believe it.
Yeah, I think that's more the thing now is the Seattle Seahawks fans. Now, by the way, I hope you know we're still in the middle of a worldwide pandemic.
Yeah.
I don't know what people you're just out and about talking about that are asking you about Russell. I don't know if you're just doing events and signings and everything.
Zoom. I Zoom with multiple.
Okay, of course. Okay, what a hero. Yeah. What a hero there.
With that Wi-Fi?
No, yeah, exactly. Maybe how many Zooms are you on right now? Okay, concurrent with this FaceTime that you have. But the people asking about that, a lot of Seahawks fans, once again, I feel like they're torn. Like, I feel like there's Seahawks fans that are mad that all this is happening, and I think they're even realizing, like, well, Russ hasn't come out and said no or whatever at this point. You know what I mean? There's those people, and then there's the people that are like, oh, we're sick of it. Fucking get them out. It seems to happen this way. Fan bases, if drama happens, they're heartbroken about it, and then they immediately know that they're going to be a fan of that team regardless of what happens, and they don't want to deal with the negativity that's going on with something that they feel positive about, especially in the offseason. Russell Wilson right now, for some Seahawks fans, as the guy who has been the face of the Seahawks for the last decade or whatever, him potentially not wanting to be there, probably a heartbreaking situation for a lot of Seahawks fans, and they're like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with it anymore. Just move on from it. It's interesting because now there's a team Pete Carroll camp. There's a team Russell Wilson camp. There's people coming out. It's getting ugly. And if they don't stop it, it's going to get very awkward if they don't end up separating. That's going to be a very awkward situation.
Oh, it's absolutely going to get very awkward at some point whenever if they're supposed to get back together in person. But don't you think most people will side with Russell, at least early on in this whole situation? They're not going to side with Pete?
By the way, we led off the show with this, and we are stereotyped as a pro-Aaron Rodgers show. I would like to let everybody know that as a sports show that is mostly NFL talk, we will always be pro-NFL MVP show. Just so happens to be a guy that we know very well. So that sucks for you, but just know going forward, like, that's what an NFL show will probably be, is a pro NFL MVP. Imagine if this was Aaron Rodgers in this entire thing. the back, like you said, most people would side with Russell. I agree. People would side with Russell because we're in a world, where it's like, hey, this person's got to do what's best for them. Okay, that whole thing. And I'm not saying I would ever be against, but there's people that if Aaron was to do this because for whatever frustrations, that would be very legit if he was to say this. And not that he would or has told us to do it, but if he did it, the people would pile on him so bad. This prick, this selfish, egotistical guy. And for whatever reason, it does feel like right now a large majority of people are like, yeah, you're right. Russell Wilson deserves to go somewhere else or something. It's very interesting how that whole thing pans out. But I hope everybody ends up happy and everybody gets $1 billion. That's what I hope.
I mean, yeah, I hope the same thing. It's not going to happen, but yeah, you're never going to end it with everybody happy. That's just how it is. For whatever reason, however, whether it's through like an athlete, an actor, whoever it is, like the image that they have, like you're kind of stuck with that. It's hard to flip that around, I guess, when people know you for so long as a certain way, or they think they know you.
I think we flipped it, by the way. I think the Aaron Rodgers stuff, I think not we, that sounds incredibly selfish, but I do believe listening to him actually speak about things on a regular basis, I think it did flip it with a large majority of people, to be honest. But there's still, and by the way, I get mentioned in a lot of it, so that's how I know it happens. There's still people that maybe didn't see any of what our conversations or know anything about him that still think that. But I think that has turned a little bit. I'm just saying in this particular situation that's happening, if Aaron was to come out and say, you know what, I want to be on a team that is going to go for it, go all in. I feel like at this stage I'm not being talked about how I should be talked about.
Team 12? You mean Team 12, or would Aaron be saying this himself?
Team 12 is saying this. Team 12 is saying this because Team 3 with Russ is saying he wants to be a top 5 quarterback all time. He's not even top 10 allegedly, and all that shit. If Aaron was to come out and say that, oh my God,
they'd kill him.
Oh my God, he would get murdered for that thing. And I guess that's why it's nice that you don't win an MVP yet. Everybody talks about how Russell hasn't had a single vote for MVP or anything like that. And maybe that's the difference of why that whole thing, but it is wild.
Maybe it's the whole, maybe Russ still has the whole underdog situation following him around, like later round draft pick, he's not big enough, people didn't give him a chance, and then bam, he just takes the league by storm.
And he's incredibly likable off the field. Let's go to some phones.
But then you go back to what if next year he comes back to Seattle, they start 0-2. Then it just blows up.
He's not even playing.
You know what I mean?
He's not even playing. He's not even trying hard. Then he has to answer those questions and go Hawks at the end.
Yeah.
Hawks. Oh.
And he wouldn't mean it.
That's why he won't do it.
Has he ever?
That's why he's not speaking out, Pat, because he doesn't want to have to set the precedent with his first interview to not end and go Hawks.
Just a tweet's cool.
Yeah, I mean, he could put together one of his incredible videos.
Mr.
He's doing it.
Unlimited. I've done worse things on the internet, okay? I definitely have, but that one was awesome. Just for a guy that doesn't make a lot of content to come out flying with Mr. Unlimited, I like it that he took that swing. I want to let everybody know I like that he took that swing. But it is something that you do have to talk about when situations like this arise with Russell Wilson.
The fact that you think one of those videos that he puts together only takes a week or 2 or 3, I mean, that's a 2 to 3 month production.
No, not with his team.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah,
Come on, Tony.
You don't know.
You think Spielberg has time to come up from the Mariana Trench and film one of those videos right now? It's gonna take some time.
You're right. I can't believe they even got some workout Scorsese's in there. His workout videos are fucking awesome. He looks so fast.
Oh, yeah.
It's all
Who,
fuel.
Russ? You talking Russ?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he's been posting workout videos through this whole process?
Fuel.
It's just fuel, dude.
Just fuel, man.
All this is just fuel.
All this is just fuel that he didn't create by himself.
What was that, AJ?
Is that a sponsor or what is that?
No, well, maybe it is probably a company he's launching.
Yeah, new drink or something.
That's the
Just fuel.
Yeah.
Try it.
It's not going to be better than other stuff.
You don't even know what it is.
I was going to say something that I know it's not better than, but I didn't know who is currently sponsoring the show and stuff, so I wasn't going to say.
Well, it's not better than Celsius for sure.
Correct.
Does he sell the concussion water?
Is he a believer? Is that
I think he was.
He used to be a big proponent of it. Yeah.
Did it work, or did we back off?
I don't think he's ever
I
had
don't know.
one.
He's been sacked more times in the last 9 years, so he might still need it. More than anyone else.
Hey, legit though, if there's a water that fixes concussions, great, fucking good for science.
Yeah, obviously, Pat, if there was that water out there, every household in the world would probably have some.
What?
What are you talking?
Not everyone's had a concussion.
Everyone
Oh, it
at
must
some
be.
point can get a concussion, I guess. If they fall down, they bump their head. Their kids dong heads playing flag football together.
Oh, and let me guess. You just think it's so easy to put out what? How many 100 million? How many people are in America?
300-something million.
Mm-hmm. You think it's that easy just to roll those things out? You think he can just roll out that concussion water to everybody in America, huh? Maybe he should be running some other things that need to be rolled out. If you think that it's just that easy.
What do you want, tap water to be concussion
What
water?
do you think this is, dude? Okay, he's trying. He's unlimited.
But a little bit limited.
With the way to roll out the concussion water for everybody.
The distribution.
It's the bubbles.
Let's go to Zach in Pennsylvania. What's going on, Zach?
Hey, Pat, how's it going? Hey, A to the J.
A to the
and
G.
a big shout out to the boys.
What's up, dude?
Shout out.
Shout out.
How are you guys doing on this beautiful Feel Good Friday?
Oh, everything's good, Zach. Thank you for asking. What do you want to talk about, pal? That's the way the cookie crumbles, man.
Yeah. Hey, I got a couple things. Bear with me. I'll try to make it quick.
So stupid.
But smart.
So, a little ironic that the Steelers kind of cleared up $15 million there. It's about the going rate for a wide receiver. Diggs. I know you hate it. Next,
he said Juju's
the Bears. I know you think
Well, they cleared $15 million to get to even, so.
you know, go get Deshaun Watson, but I think Marcus Mariota would be a good fit. Plays better than anybody they got there, and a little more room in the salary than for them to go get a wide receiver. So.
All right, thank you, Zach. So he said Ben Roethlisberger took that pay cut not only because he loves the organization, it's his biggest honor to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, but because that's roughly exactly what people think Juju is going to make. That's an interesting little thing. Let's get Juju back to Pittsburgh. Bring him home.
Hey, Mike Hilton.
Marcus Mariota to Chicago. Marcus Mariota had a great, half and a quarter or whatever. He looked unbelievable. He has a $20 million price tag. He's going to become a free agent. There's a lot of moves I can make. Everybody's saying that Chicago's in for Deshaun or Russell, AJ.
They did say, I know that they're going to explore all options, I guess. But yeah, of course they're going to, maybe they'll kick the tires. What does that mean? Like, will they be able to give up enough to get those guys?
They would. The interesting thing, the Bears don't really have much draft capital. I don't think they're like anywhere near the conversation of that. But maybe.
But Nagy, the Bears are under an extreme amount of pressure. I'm sure Zito knows that. Like they know we got to win right now or we're out of here.
Right now,
fired.
Right now.
Yeah,
well, that's from Zito. That's not necessarily the owner.
If you're Ryan Pace, though, what do you care? You know, trade everything you got. If you stink this year, you lose your job anyway.
And this is Bill O'Brien, right? Mm-hmm. This is kind of Bill O'Brien's situation. So the owner is probably going to have to okay it. Yeah. Seems like the owner in Pace are very tight. It seems like they are very, very tight.
If you fuck up too bad, though, does that mean for your next job, you're not going to get one? Essentially,
no. But they'll go back into scouting. Like there's always a rebirth. You know what I mean? Yeah. No matter in coaching and in that world, it's like if you really want to, you can get back in. It's like look what I've learned and taken away from it and all that. Yeah, we ruined an entire franchise for the next 5-10 years with the draft picks and everything like that. But we've learned, like that type of thing.
I mean, don't you think, though, that coaches and GMs are absolutely scared to death to go back in line and have to start all over again?
If they want to be coaches and GMs still, Like there's some people that get a head coaching gig and it's not going well and they're like, if I didn't have this, if I didn't have to deal with all this bullshit and I could just go back to being a defense coordinator, that would be cool with me. I'm assuming that there's a lot of that. General manager, maybe this isn't what I thought it was going to be, but the guys that love being the general manager, love being the head coach, I would assume that they're like, we got to keep this job at all. Like, hey, this is everything that we potentially wanted in, have worked for, and there's only 32 of those jobs, so it's hard to get to.
The Bears have fully recovered from the Khalil Mack trade. They have all their picks this year and next year going forward.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Just one in each?
Yeah.
Trade them away again.
How about this? 1 through 7 this year? Dude, guess what? Sorry. 1 through 7. We're keeping the second 7. And then next year, 1 through 7 again. Just take it. Fuck it.
Who needs them?
And how about the next year, too? Fucking just have them all.
Why not?
If you're going to win a game, let's do it. Mm-hmm. That's the way I would be a GM, by the way. That is how I would GM. And by the way, probably why I wouldn't get a job.
You think you'd probably, hey, I'm going to win right now. I'm going to do whatever I can to have my team win right now, and I'm not even going to think about tomorrow or the next year.
No, we're playing checkers, not chess. We are in it to jump and get kinged immediately. Where's my ring? Where's my trophy? I'm retiring. Good luck fucking cleaning that up.
So isn't that kind of like the Tampa Bay mindset, though?
Yeah, but the Tampa Bay mindset has been, evolving for so long. But yes, they want,
balls to the wall.
Tom Brady, come on in.
They also had a rookie playing tackle this year who did very well.
Tristan Wirfs, great.
And a rookie playing safety that did very well.
Winfield, he was a stud. They did draft well, by the way, which I think if you go back through Bruce Arians' career, I believe he does have a pretty good eye for football players. I think that is something he has. Not everybody has it, by the way. To be honest, it's kind of alarming how many people miss on people, but that's just the way the NFL goes.
Yeah, you never know. Like you say, situations or situational. Right?
Case by case, yeah.
No one knows exactly what that means, but yeah, it's so difficult to I guess, try to figure out, hey, is this guy going to be this good at the next level?
AJ, I want to kind of circle back to a conversation we had before you were on the air. Brock Lesnar, James Harrison are the two we're sending. Tag team match against aliens to save all of our lives. You think that's good too, or you think we're missing anybody there?
I mean, can you only send two?
Well, it's a tag team. In this particular case,
tag team match.
But if we do offer up a third, I'm sure they could find somebody out there.
I mean, yeah, Brock and James Harrison, they would definitely be in the top of my list of people that I want to send out. Man, I don't know. Like, is there any guy under the radar, maybe a smaller person you think that would be scrappy?
Rey Mysterio? Rey Mysterio, maybe. And then beat the other alien's
Undertaker.
head with it.
Well, that's why we would
maybe Bob Backlund. Look at the knee walk out there.
Dad, you felt so good about that.
I love Bob Backlund.
I don't know if Bob Backlund's making a cut in my world, but in your fight, maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
What about Triple H? Your boys with Triple H?
I'd send him. Listen, there are people. First wave, we're talking here, pal. Okay, we're talking fresh. The boat, Normandy, storming. This is first. This is first off the bus, dude. This is first off the bus who we're sending. I think those two. James Harrison was doing dips with 5 plates strapped to his waist. 225 pounds added to his doing dips, 5 of them. What a fucking beast that guy is.
Yeah, he's a bit of a freak. He could probably still play.
AJ, did you do any of that type of stuff whenever you were playing?
I mean, not with 5 plates, no. My torn pec really shut down my dip game a little bit.
Did you have a good dip game?
I was actually pretty good, like in high school and college, and then I yanked my pec off, and that the weighted dips really they want to re-tear this thing if I try that.
So when I dip, you dip, we dip. That became like a real lot of that seems to be a
dips are great. I love doing dips. Like I feel good doing it.
Yeah, it's very hard, but it's a workout that people do where it's like like others notice. It seems like it is a like the pull. If you get in a gym and they have the pull up on the thing. On the rack, and you start doing it, like everybody is watching to see how many you do. And then the dip, I think, is the same exact type of situation. I've never fucked with the dip because my ass and legs are so heavy. It's like, that seems like something I'm setting myself up for complete. Yeah! Because it gets to that point.
Get on that machine. Get on the machine that the kids use where it helps you up.
I'm not scared to put a little band under there either.
Not only kids use that.
Yeah, adults use it. Jesus.
I know. AJ?
Let's get the Von Lilas in Indiana. If this is the wrestler Von Lilas, this man once beat John Cena. Von Lilas, what's going on? Oh, no.
It took him out.
Von Lilas. Oh, no.
Jesus.
Dead.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Oh, where are you?
I'm in New York, man.
Can't hear you.
I'm in New York, man.
Oh,
he's coming through the tubes. What?
He's probably underwater. What?
In the Lincoln Tunnel right now.
Let's go to Taylor in Virginia. What's going on, Taylor? That guy did beat John Cena. That's not.
Hey, brother.
Oh, this guy, Hulk Hogan.
Mid hates John Cena.
Quick
Isn't Ariel coming on?
Did y'all see the guy at Frisbee Golf get the $10 million contract? You get there and bang some chains around the office.
Who's that? Brody? Brody got a $10 million contract in.
I didn't hear about this, but he would be the guy to get it.
Disc golf. That's that game where you throw the
$10 million contract.
Really? Who paid it? Who gave him the contract?
Listen,
Skip.
We're learning about it. Fox. I bet Fox. That would be a good decision. Hey, I've seen some clips. That is electrifying whenever it hits.
I love frothing.
Yeah, I like froth too. Are you going to go to a league? Are you going to go to a league if that's what they have? Are they creating a disc golf league, and are they going to air that on the Peacock? What are we doing?
They do have a league on ESPN, the Ocho. It plays almost every other night.
No one's watching that.
Is that
shit
real?
on
I feel like
TV.
on late night, I'm up. I've never seen that. I watch motocross. Sons of bitches are trying to kill themselves on dirt bikes. I've never seen that.
I for sure. I've seen it on ESPN2 before.
I feel like I have a Rolodex of sports I will watch late night. What was that, Crushed Ice, where they're ice skating down a mountain with Red Bull, that whole thing? I watched the motocross. I watch Aussie Rules football. I found that.
Yeah.
I will give sports a shot. I have never seen the disc golf on TV.
Oh, it's fun.
But if it is, good for them making money off it.
Yeah. They have their own network.
Hell yeah.
Really?
Disc Golf Network, $9.99 a month.
About that.
You
kidding me?
I found out how they paid the guys.
So they're going to have to get 1 million people to subscribe for 1 month to pay the Brody back. He'll get there.
It's Paul Macbeth.
Huh?
Paul Macbeth, 30-year-old Paul Macbeth, 10-year deal or $10 million deal.
Wow.
With who? Like a sponsor or what?
Did you say how many years?
10 years, $10 million.
In a year.
I bet you there's a lot of avoidable years there for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope he gets more than that. I hope it
Hopefully
works.
it's front loaded for him. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't sound like it is, but I hope. I've seen some of those shots.
Oh yeah, Dave McNeil fucking bangs chains.
Joining us now. Joining us now is a man who, is an MMA expert for ESPN. He's a man who's won a lot of prestigious awards. Mm-hmm. He's a man who is celebrating Canada this morning by rapping alongside the lemon pepper freestyle of Champagne Poppy Drake. And a man who comes on this show and tries to ruin it every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, from ESPN, Ariel Helwani.
Hi, Ariel.
You look like a stooge. What's going on?
Hey, guys. I just wanted to say hello to AJ first. AJ, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ariel. You look good. I like your sweater and your digital backdrop. I love it, man.
Thank you, AJ. Long time no speak. I'm happy that you showed up this time because you have been conspicuous by your absence the last couple of times.
Oh, gee.
So I'm happy that you showed up.
What do you say,
Ariel?
What do you
Where's
say?
Where's that prop cigar that you like to pretend that you smoke every time? Where's that, bad boy?
I don't know. I might get to it. Don't worry about it, Ariel.
Just get to the conversation, Ariel, okay? Stop trying to ruin the show. The background, what's that all about? Is that on that TV that was on a sleep timer the last time?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I just finished up a 2-hour show for ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. And in the middle of the show, I got sort of, I don't know, flooded isn't the right word. I got a couple of, tweets that trickled in from your loser fan base. I mean, total degenerates who have nothing better to do on a Friday afternoon than listen to you two jabrones go on and on and on about Lord knows what. Is Deshaun Watson going to sign? Is he going to leave? Was he disrespected? I mean, shoot me in the brain. It's the most boring stuff I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah.
In any event, these guys came at me calling me a stooge and all this stuff.
Oh. What?
You don't realize how many times I get messages from people who say, please come on Patrick's show on Fridays to make us feel good about life. Please help them. Please boost their morale because they're swimming and drowning with these loser guests time and again.
Jeez Louise. Shinigami, dude?
Yeah, what?
You're calling Shinigami a loser? You're going to catch a shin to the mouth, pal. You start talking like that.
Yeah, I saw that Shinigami clip finally. I mean, you talk about a grade A top tier jabron, right? I mean, Shinigami. I mean, you see. Let me tell you something. I would show up wherever Shinigami is wearing this $400 cardigan, and the whole thing wouldn't get even like a speck of dust on it. That's what I would do to Mr. Shinigami.
By the way,
kidding me?
By the way, that's
shout
not
out to
true.
my girl.
All right. You had a 2-hour show today. Why? They never let you on TV. What happened? What was going on today?
Well, when I say show, it's more of a digital show, just like your
it's
little
on the
show.
internet.
I mean,
Okay, on the
come
worldwide leader's internet. Okay, all right.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why they're the worldwide leader. We touch many different platforms. Today we were doing the weigh-in show, which is a really big deal. I think the weigh-ins are actually more interesting than the fights themselves, to be honest. I mean, it's theater at its finest. You don't get this in any other sport. You know how you guys get all like crazy about the combine in Indianapolis? Like, oh, this guy touched a little thing. Oh, wow, look at him. he ran. We get to see these athletes in their rawest form, in their raw state, step on a scale. You get to see how much they weigh. If you can find greater drama than that in sports, I have yet to see it.
It's riveting, Ariel, and you do a good job with that. But I want to jump to football quick before you talk a little bit of MMA.
AJ, thank you for the compliment.
About the card. I couldn't hear you. It mutes you. But hey, I want to know about J.J. Watt. Were you upset he didn't go to the Bills?
Who? J.J. Watt? What has that guy ever done? I mean, you talk about a guy who hasn't won anything of note in his entire career, and everyone's going all gaga for him. Oh. Yeah, good luck, J.J. Watt. You belong in Arizona, right? You can hang out with those losers who celebrated when they got a Hail Mary catch against the Buffalo Bills, and the Buffalo Bills didn't lose a single game after that. You talk about a loser mentality. They're a match made in heaven. Now, Von Miller, we can talk. If you'd like to join a winning franchise, I'd be open to it. But you know what? I want to take care of our own first and foremost. I want to see Jonathan Feliciano get a big deal from the franchise. I mean, you talk about a guy who poured his soul into the season. I mean, a torn pec, a torn shoulder. He won that, that courage award, whatever you guys like to call it. Jonathan Feliciano from the U is the man. But we could talk about Von Miller. But no, I know you're trying to get me all fired up over there.
You're talking about Ed Block. Talking about Ed Block?
What are you drinking? What are you drinking? Rubbing alcohol, AJ? Is that what you drink over there?
Exactly.
Where you're from?
Yes.
Rubbing alcohol. You disgust. Here I am. I tried to offer an olive branch to you. I tried to extend love. I ask Patrick about you all the time. I ask him how you're doing. I ask him how your family's doing, and you try to take a cheap shot like that on me.
No,
disgust
never.
Me, AJ.
Ariel, I'm just trying to keep you on long enough until your screensaver hits and your backdrop disappears.
And you're an embarrassment to everybody.
Guess what? That'll be the best thing to happen to this rinky-dink show. All right? So that'll be ratings through the roof. Okay, so you can keep me on as long as you want, but I got other shows to go on. I hear Rich Eisen's about to call me. I hear Dan Patrick's about to call me. Real shows hosted by real professionals. All right?
All right. Well, if Skip Bayless gives you a call, you should probably answer, and you should probably ask some questions about your employer too about that offer that he received. But let's move forward here.
What's that? What are you trying to do? Get me fired here, Patrick?
No.
Sad state of affairs.
No.
Troll.
I would never do
that kind of money.
I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never try to get you fired because I think you do an incredible job. Speaking of, let's get to what you actually know about instead of speaking out of your ass about everything. Okay.
The 19-18 New York Knickerbockers, number 5 in the Eastern Conference with Julius Randle, most improved. I know you don't talk about basketball on this show for some bizarre reason. Why don't you guys ever talk about basketball? You can have me on to talk about basketball.
Talk about basketball. Nobody would have you on. We would not have you on. Yeah, we would have.
Yeah, who would you have?
Chris Webber. We had Chris Webber. We had Chris Webber on.
Reporting.
We had Chris Webber. He's in the game, and he's also doing talking during the game while you're sideline reporting things.
Wait. Time out.
Yeah.
Time out.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry.
Oh,
come on. Forget about the timeout. The guy who called an illegal timeout is the guy. I mean, come on. I'm sorry. Pardon the pun. Pardon the pun, Chris. I mean, come on. 1993. I was there. I was there at the Superdome. I remember it. You're gonna tell me that guy has more credentials than I have? Real Chris Webber. I'm an NBA sideline reporter for the Worldwide Leader. I've done 7 games, plus 3 rookie league games, summer league games.
Hey, when are you going to start doing the overtime games? Hey, overtime's got high school games now. $100,000 people are making.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something about they don't have enough money in their budget for me to show up to one of those games.
They would let you talk though. You would talk though. You'd be a part of the broadcast.
I do pros and pros only, all right? I hang out with the likes of Julius Randle, the most improved player in the National Basketball Association, Tom Thibodeau, the coach of the year, Emmanuel Quickly. I know you guys know nothing about any of these.
What about Dolan? You hanging out with him? Worst owner in sports.
Says who?
You guys going to let Charles Oakley back in the building?
Come on.
No?
What are we doing?
Yeah. Well, don't get me started on all of that. I'm trying to feel good about my New York.
No. Yeah,
we're spike out.
I just want to be real.
You can make a strong case for the Houston Texans owner, whoever that guy is. I mean, look what he's done to that franchise.
Well, Jack Easterby is the one to blame, actually. That's a little bit of a deep dive. But let's talk about what you actually know about. Please, can we goddamn talk about what you actually have a little bit of credibility in? Just a little bit of credibility in.
What's that? What's that, Patrick? What do you want to know about?
You're making it all about yourself. This is unbelievable.
What do you want to know about, Patrick?
Hey,
what could I educate you with? What? What do you want?
All right, so I want to let you know that I think that you're the best at what you do, okay? I think you are. I honestly believe that. In the shot that you got from UFC President Dana White was bullshit. We're on your side. Even though you make our show worse, we're on your side. But whenever you talk about UFC, you seem to know what you're talking about. This weekend, we got a guy named Stylebender who is doing interviews from what appears to be a Super 8 motel. He is wearing a lavish robe. He goes up a weight and is fighting against some Polish guy. People are telling me that he won't be able to knock him out. It won't be enough. What should we expect from this weekend? Because the last UFC card, people were saying was a snoozer. This weekend, what should we expect?
Well, the main event last time, the last pay-per-view, I think you mean, because they're on every single weekend, ended up being a great one. Kamaru Usman against Gilbert Burns. History will potentially be made on Saturday. And what's bigger than history, guys? There's nothing bigger than history.
Well, her story, please.
Well, okay, fine. Israel Adesanya moving up from 185. No one has ever held the 185 and 205 pound titles at the same time. Only 4 fighters in the history of the UFC, the illustrious history of the UFC, have held 2 titles at the same time. Count them with me. Who's number 1? Let's go. Let's hear it.
Gracie, McGregor, Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell. Jay Glazer.
Triple G.
I think Jay Glazer trains. Triple G. Canelo. I think he also had.
Enough of that. Listen, I'm trying to educate you here. Conor McGregor, Daniel Cormier, Amanda Nunes, and Triple C, Henry Cejudo. Those are the only 4 fighters in the history of the sport who have held 2 titles at the same time. Izzy's trying to become the 5th and the first to hold the 185 and 205. But here's what's fascinating. Moments ago at the weigh-ins, which I was a part of on ESPN, the worldwide leader, this guy, Israel Adesanya, weighed in at 205 pounds. That's the second lowest weight ever for a light heavyweight title fight in the UFC. Now, he's not planning on adding more weight to his frame come Saturday. Jan Blachowicz, the champion, is planning on adding around 15 pounds come Saturday. He's going to bulk back up. He's going to rehydrate. It's going to be a massive weight discrepancy come Saturday. But Izzy likes it like that. Israel Adesanya, by the way, just to let you guys know, we got the All-Star game this weekend. A lot of great athletes will be competing in that. You got baseball coming up. You got the NHL. Yeah. Israel Adesanya is the best athlete competing in sports this weekend. 20, clip that off. Tell the Stooges in the back, clip that off right now. The best athlete competing in sports this weekend is a young man who hails now from Auckland, New Zealand, nicknamed the Last Stylebender, Israel Adesanya. Listen to this. 20-0 as an MMA fighter. 9-0 in the UFC. Just 31 years young. Oh, by the way, 75-5. I did not stutter. 75-5 as a pro kickboxer. 5-1 as a boxer. Oh, by the way, 48-0 as an amateur kickboxer. Do the math, Patrick. Do the math, AJ. I know you guys have been hit in the head a lot. That's 100 pro fighting victories. 148 if you count the amateur ones as well. That's a supreme athlete. That's unlike anything anyone's doing in sports today. This man needs to be talked about more. He needs to be given more respect. He needs to be given more attention. I'm doing my part on behalf of all of you, but it's time that the lamestream media does the same as well.
Interesting to think about saying that he's the greatest athlete on earth right now. Now, we haven't, or competing this weekend, haven't seen a ball in his hand, okay? Now, I'm not going to say I'm a meathead, that is exactly how I judge what you do, but I do believe if you're the best athlete, somebody should be able to throw you a ball and you should be able to play catch. Like, I think that's something that should happen pretty
You serious right now? You really want to get into this conversation? You're telling me what Israel does in multiple sports?
I'm not saying that.
Isn't more impressive?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
It sounds actually exactly like what you're saying.
He's saying maybe impressive is not the same as athletic.
Walking into a cage against another human being who's looking to knock your head off.
Very athletic. It's still very athletic.
Very athletic, but
not
saying,
comparing it to other kind of sports. It's different.
All I'm saying is the guys who are playing this weekend are very, very talented, and they get a lot of attention. This man probably gets 1/10 the amount of attention that the athletes competing this weekend are
which
getting.
Many would say is the media's fault of MMA, which
What do you mean of MMA? What are you talking about? You can't even say his name. You called him the Last Stylebender because that's an easier name to say than his actual name. True or false?
Say his name.
True or false?
I don't know his name. Say his name. I'll be able to say it. No problem.
Israel Adesanya.
Bro, that's easy. Israel Adesanya, bro. I am a wizard with words. Please take it easy.
Well done.
He's the last style bender. I mean, that is a great nickname. We should utilize that as much as possible to maybe build up, instead of 1/10 of the attention, maybe a little bit more attention. If the media in the sport that he's in would do a little bit better job and stop counting trophies all the time.
Yeah, right. I mean, you talking about a media corps that I would put up there against anyone. I'm a 10-time MMA journalist of the year winner. To me, more impressive, by the way, than the Nobel Peace Prize, Pulitzer Prize, anything that you can scrounge up. AJ knows it's true. You see, the thing about AJ is he's a closet fan. He had me on his podcast once and wrote me a nice note afterwards saying it was one of the highlights of his career that I came on. And now he's doing this whole shtick like he doesn't like me. I know he's a big fan. AJ, can you just tell the people that you're a big fan, that you look forward to my appearances each and every time I come on. Let's go. Let's hear it, AJ. Come on.
Well, first off, I'm not in 6th grade, and peer pressure hopefully doesn't affect me like it once did when I was younger, Ariel. But yes, I have no problem admitting I'm a fan of what you do, and I'm a bigger fan now of what you have been doing, because I would love to see you sitting in a room with the rest of your MMA media, and they watch you on this show, and they're like, oh, hey, man, and you're professional Ariel there. I would love to see the interaction you have with those people.
You stink over there is what we're saying.
Are you saying I need to come out of my shell a little more and talk smack about everyone else like I talk smack about you two jabrones? Is that what you're saying?
I think, maybe that'd be a good career move for you.
And whatever you
Why
do over there.
Why do you think that'd be a good career move? I think you're trying to lead me down the wrong path, AJ, quite frankly.
No, you're way too smart to take any advice that you don't think would be
and he's
beneficial
a fan.
for you, Ariel. I think it would be great. I think it would get you out there more. Maybe you get some more minutes on SportsCenter.
And maybe, by the way, Israel Adesanya would get a little bit more hype because you get a little bit more hype.
Don't disrespect the man. The man would tie you up in a pretzel.
I agree. I agree that he would.
A man once told me, guys, listen to me right now. I want you to listen to me very carefully.
We're forced to, okay? It's a fucking show, and we got to hear things in, okay? We are forced to listen.
Take criticism from people you wouldn't go to for advice. Lord knows I don't go to you two jabrones for advice. All right? So I ain't listening to your criticism at all. All right? Oh, by the way, I can't hear you because I got my Burberry patches across my ears here, and it's very, very loud in this room.
Oh my God, the Burberry's screaming.
About me now?
$400. I would have chose maybe one with more Burberry on it, so I didn't have to do that move to show people that I had Burberry on. But great investment. I saw you dancing this morning at the breakfast table alongside Champagne Poppy, Drake, Canadian God. You really loved.
How good is that track, though?
What's that?
How good? Lemon Pepper, and that's facts. I mean, that guy, the man doesn't miss. He's like me on this show. Every appearance, hit after hit after hit. Champagne Poppy, Drake, Drizzy, the Sixth God. The man don't miss. The absolute greatest MC of all time. That's right. I said it. Clip
Okay,
it off.
all right.
Greatest MC.
Okay, but what about
of all
Bieber?
time.
Bieber released a song today too. I didn't see you lose your mind. That's another Canadian God.
Good point.
Can I tell you, low key, like on the low? As
Yeah,
the kids
yo,
like
hey,
to
low
say?
key, dude.
On the low?
Yeah, dude.
I'm a massive Bieber stan.
Oh, yeah.
I know the kids like to say that these days. I'm a massive Bieber stan. I mean, what he has done in the latter portion of his career, tremendous stuff. The evolution of his career, the maturation of his persona. That man, top notch. By the way, fun fact: go on YouTube, Ariel Helwani, Justin Bieber. Type that in. You'll see an old school interview. I interviewed the man before he hit puberty, way back in the day. I was on that bandwagon from day one, sort of like with MMA, sort of like with this show. I just want to let you guys know that despite the disparaging remarks, despite the slander, I'm a fan. I wish you guys the best. I just wish that you would give me the same kind of respect and let me know that, hey, you do boost our ratings, and that's why we like to have you
Yeah, but you
on.
don't. You only come on Fridays. That's our worst days.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that when I'm not on the show on Fridays, I get so many messages from people who say we missed you, and I like to make the people happy. That's
saw
what
the
I'm all
tweets from
about.
people today.
Are you going to be at? Hey, by the way, can we talk about that never was Cody Rhodes taking a shot at my guy Patrick McAfee? I mean, who's this guy to speak your name? First of all, the words Patrick McAfee should not exit that man's mouth. You're running a failing organization, right? that is bringing out old timers and pro basketball players, and you're trying to hitch your wagon to the Patrick McAfee train. First of all, Cody, if you want to get by Patrick McAfee, you got to get by me.
Did he say Patrick McAfee?
Well, that's how I refer to you, so I'm going to keep that gimmick up. But I couldn't believe that this guy would come up with a lie, because I know you would. I mean, I know you want to be, with the big dogs in New York. I mean, you're a Titan Towers kind of guy. You're not a down south 705 WCW kind of guy. We all know that Patrick McAfee is with the top guy. So Cody Rhodes, you better watch your mouth, my man. Don't you ever make any lies up about my guy Patrick. Hey, how about this? What about
Ariel,
this
we just
Patrick,
extended the Cody Rhodes
AJ,
thing for like
Helwani,
another week now.
We go down to Jacksonville and we rough that place up. What do you guys say, huh? What do you guys say?
Hey, Ariel, would you be open to Pat carrying you like in a little knapsack on his belly into the ring?
That's cool. I mean, if that's the gimmick we're going to go, if that's what the Booker man wants us to do. But you see, the difference between me and everyone else in this business, AJ, is that I got the pencil. And you know what the pencil – Mansouri could tell you about the pencil. The pencil ultimately calls the shots. I got the pencil. I would never make a deal with these guys if I didn't have complete creative control. That's why I've turned down multiple deals from multiple organizations dating back to NWA back in the day, even AWA back in the day. The Gagne family wanted me to be.
What do you have there?
Ariel, can you confirm or deny a story I saw on the internet about Jan Bohovic, who found a man hanging in the woods from a tree, and now every time before he fights, he goes and touches that rope, and he even made a bracelet out of that rope.
Is this the guy Stylebenders fighting?
Yeah. Is that true?
Yes. That is 100% true. By the way, great get-up. Loser franchise, but great get-up over there that you got in that penalty box of yours.
Bills.
It is true. Apparently in Poland, if you find someone hanging from a tree, I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing stuff, it's a sign of good luck. And so one day, as he tells it, Jan was walking his dog in a forest
that
in his
happens
house.
that often? Yeah. It happens that often that it's like
I don't pretend to be an expert when it comes to Polish, rituals, but I'll just say he claims to have found this. He claims that there was a rope that was left there. He claims that this is good luck, and then he claims to have gone there repeatedly over the last couple of years. But before this fight, he was worried that someone was going to take the rope away. I'm like, how is this rope still there all this time? So yes, he did take the rope and he turned it into a bracelet, and he now wears the bracelet. I mean, my 2 cents, a little bit creepy, not really my thing, but more power to Jan. Jan's a great guy. Newfound motivation. He's a father now, just had his first child, so he's a really tough guy. Don't sleep on the pride of Poland. He's got legendary Polish power. Some have said he reminds them of a young Ariel Helwani. I'm not going to go there. I'll let you guys be.
Yeah, let the fight showcase that. It will be the ones to judge if he's a young Ariel or not. And the thought now with UFC is Dana White at the very beginning of this quarantine was like, listen, we're going to have a fight. He went and got an island. And then Disney allegedly told him, like, yeah, we can't, everybody's stopping. There's a reason we can't do it. And Dana came out and said, if I had to do it, I would have had a plan in place. We would have been able to continue doing this. And then obviously he gets back into the game before the end of quarantine, everything like that. Texas is now open. Okay. Texas is, how you doing? Come on in. We're playing games. Dana has said, okay, I'll go down there and make, as early as 260, I think, which is coming up. He's potentially going to maybe be the first person with a live sporting event in America that's at capacity, I think, which is what could possibly happen in Texas. What are you hearing about that? Is that going to be that fast of a turnaround? That'd be pretty crazy to see. I would assume that gladiator atmosphere would be awesome the first time back. But the reaction, by the way, also going to be pretty big through that whole thing.
Well, he also said that they tried to go to Dallas, and apparently Dallas wasn't interested right now. I think that this is classic Dana White promoting. I have no doubt that he wants to be the first to hold an event at capacity. I have no doubt that they're looking at all options. March 27th, which is the date of that UFC 260 event, seems a little soon. I mean, I'm looking at the date right over there. It's currently March 5th, so that, if my math is correct, that's in 22 days. Seems a little soon and seems a little unnecessary. Here's the thing about what the UFC has experienced over the past year or so. They've had a phenomenally good year. I mean, we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of the pandemic really starting here in America, and they deserve a lot of credit for having the foresight. Obviously, they didn't expect this, but they built essentially their own arena. It's called the Apex, small little quaint thing, and they've been able to save a ton of money holding events there. And so that's why Dana keeps saying the only way I go to a place is if I can get it at full capacity so I can make the most amount of money. Otherwise, I'm just going to stay here because I'm saving a ton of money. That's why he said they had their best year ever in 2020, because think about the money they saved, 43 events. They didn't have to travel all over the world. Think about the cost there, travel, crew, arena. They don't have to pay for any of that. Even better than the WWE deal, because the WWE with Tropicana Field, they had to lease that place out. And so I suspect that they will wait. I have no doubt that he wants to go to Houston, but it seems to me like 22 days, like what's the rush? Why do it now? I'll tell you this, Conor's going to come back probably in the summertime, and I would be shocked if he's not fighting in front of fans. They want fans when Conor McGregor fights because obviously he costs a lot of money.
All right, last question. We appreciate that. What is your thoughts on who's going to win this weekend? Who should we be betting on?
Shinigami, -700. All in on him.
Doesn't matter anymore. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, Ariel!
Did you and him make up or no?
Yeah, I think so.
We got to get to a break. We'll be back on the other side. Pat McAfee Show.
I got a mic for 15 seconds before I hit the anvil. I've been trying to time myself out for 15 seconds. I've never spoken for 15 seconds before. There's no chance. It's a new era for Colts football. All right, let's go. You're all badasses. Thank you all for your service. Have an incredible day out there. It's the safest place in America right now. Holy hell. All right, everybody smile. You're probably not supposed to. Hey, safe travels. We appreciate the hell out of all of you. Go kick ass. Hooah! Hey, the best game in the history of the drumline is going to be today. You guys are going to steal the show and set the How's it going? My name's Pat. I swing a big hammer, and when I talk, people listen. A long fucking day. So I had to switch it to damn. When I get going like that, I really catch it. Hey, big cold swing today, huh? Another week about to start, Foxy. Triple H texted me, said he enjoyed it. Nice. He said if anybody's making fun of you for the size of your hammer, just tell them it's not the size, it's how you swing it. Shinigami fighting out of Lancaster, California.
Lifestyle, grinding harder than your charger with the lights out. Mine used to play tricks, but I might now. Now I might run it up till my mind's proud. Guaranteed you feel that. Realest from these new jacks. Mona Lisa as my teacher, seeing every angle. Young preacher, but deceiver, cause I feel my anger. I might use it as a weapon where you might see danger. All this manifesting, testing whether I'm an angel. I just know when hell comes, I will outrun. Judgment day, all dismay.
Every day is game day for these guys. It's showtime on the Pat McAfee Show.
Welcome to that show. Got about a minute left before the Hard Out here, AJ, before a great weekend. And to the people that listen on Sirius, we can't thank you enough. We're lucky that you allow us in to wherever you listen from around America and Canada, obviously. AJ, anything to say to the listeners of Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio, before Chris Mad Dog Russo and Mad Dog Unleashed comes on here in about a minute. No, I'm sorry, 7 minutes or so.
You know what? It's rare, but I think I'm good. I don't have anything.
Are you sure, AJ?
I thought there was a chance maybe.
Big weekend.
You've been texting me saying you were fired up for this one.
Really?
Which one of those things am I fired up the most about, Gumpy?
The Friday send-off. You said you were going to have a good one this week for us.
Well, Gump, you know what? I think this is a perfect platform for you to impart some of your wisdom.
Wow, I did not know that was going to... Maybe next Friday we'll have a hype you up for the weekend Friday speech off by Gumpy and
ready.
AJ Hall.
I'll be ready.
AJ is the reigning champ. Gumpy from Canada coming in, just like Shinigami, who's traveling east to take on Big Smile for the championship tomorrow. We'll have a big Monday show, I think. Have an incredible weekend. We can't thank you enough for rocking up with us. Chris Mad Dog Russo, Mad Dog Unleashed, is in about 6 minutes. His show is better than ours, I promise. Nailed it. Hey, can we talk about how fucking just... Jake, you turn sound on this?
Oh,
okay.
Turn this up.
This guy goes very hard. You hear this, AJ? This is Sawaya.
So do they have to agree to let Sirius play it, or how's it work to be on the show?
Sirius has rights for everything, basically. YouTube is the problem.
So YouTube has it. You just pick this from a list of already.
This guy sent the song in to us to play. A lot of people send their music in for us to play at Stuff, STUFF, the number 4, the show, at PatMcAfeeShow.com. Nick is tasked with checking that, going through there and updating the songs over here. And it's all independent music. But every once in a while, one of these independent artists will be so damn good that they just move up the chain so quickly, they get signed, and then all of our shows just get boom, bang, pow, poo. So we kind of get fucked over every once in a while in the end, but I'm okay with empowering independent artists because a lot of guys are good, a lot of ladies are good, a lot of shit, but a lot are good, and it's really the only thing we can have.
Yeah, most of it's pure trash, but it is nice to find every once in a while, like that one, you find a real heater you can vibe to a little bit.
There was a very terrible entry and Nick only shares a few with me, but there was a very, very terrible entry. I don't like, if something's terrible, I don't like seeing it. You know, I don't like hearing it. I don't like seeing it. I don't want to feel uncomfortable for whoever did it, because now that it's in here, if I ever meet the person that did it, okay, everybody, we know how I'm going to act with it. I'm going to ask about it. It's going to become a situation. So friends and family have to keep me away from things that are normally pretty terrible. Every once in a while, though, Nick will just come right in my face with something and just be like, listen, I'm forcing you to listen to this. And it's so bad. So bad. I'm like, who is this? But we got to tell them. We have to tell them now to stop making music. But there's some good that gets through as well, and we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, Nick, you gotta watch out when Nick comes right on your face with something and needs you to listen to it, right?
Well, not only listen, but watch. There's just terrible things. I mean, it's kind of your thing too, now that I think about it. I've only been around you, I think, a couple of times, and it's what you do as well. So I enjoy the fact that you guys enjoy watching me, I get really uncomfortable. I get very uncomfortable when those things happen. What was that fucking singer's name? What was his name?
Chuck Berry?
Oh. I almost vomited.
I can't kiss you right now. Your face smell like piss.
See, I didn't even make it to that. There's a watch party that it was disgusting. Let's go to Andrew in Fargo, North Dakota. What's going on, Andrew?
What's up, Pat? How's it going? What's up, AJ? How the boys doing?
Hey, not too shabby. Thanks for calling in. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Yeah, Vikings looking like there's going to be a long road here. We got to play against Aaron Rodgers twice, Motor City Dan Campbell twice. Justin Jefferson's nice. Kirk Cousins just can't seem to get it done. I don't know. It's going to be a long couple of years, I think.
Well, it does feel like as long as Aaron Rodgers is in the division, it's going to be long for everybody, and it has been. But whenever you talk about Ariel Helwani in your relationship, did you strictly not smoke while Ariel was on because Ariel was on, and did he call you out for that? Was that a chess move by Ariel that was a hit, or no? Or are you just bringing back another cigar now?
No, I'm just bringing. I normally don't smoke when we have people on too much, but yeah, once he mentioned that, hey, where's your prop cigar? I knew there was no chance I was going to smoke.
Yeah, like fuck you. Okay, that's what it was.
Did you hear him try to he tried to take a shot at Skip when you mentioned this thing? He's like, oh, it's a sad day when a guy like that gets that much money or something.
A troll, yeah, he said, yeah. My first thing upon seeing it, Skip Bayless get $32 million. I was pumped, like legit pumped as soon as I saw it. I'm like, Skip Bayless getting $8 million a year. Okay, good for Skip. 69, the whole thing. Second biggest sports show. It's very, very impressive what they've been able to do. So at that age, being that, still making 30, I was pumped up about it. I tweet out about it, by the way. People, the responses are just, oh my God, because that's what Skip has been, a heel for the last 20 years. So you're kind of warranting that. If I worked at ESPN, though, I mean, that would be something. Or like that is real. That is a real, because the more information comes out, it's like, yo, all right. If that's what's saving the company, that's an interesting, that's a
lot of people had to take pay cuts over there.
Massive pay cuts.
Yeah.
Oh. And ESPN was they're willing to pay Stephen A. and Skip if they were bidding for Skip too.
Yeah, because Stephen A., there was an announcement that Stephen A. got, the biggest contract or whatever that was before. Mm-hmm. And then, by the way, Stephen A., we electrifying. Love Stephen A. But then Skip gets offered the same thing, and then everybody else at ESPN's probably like, wait, wasn't I told that I had to...
That's okay. Skip. We had no money?
I thought I had to move out of my house.
60% haircut.
Well, you were $28 million for Skip Bayless? What the fuck is going on around here? You have to.
Also,
go ahead.
But Skip doesn't have to do like a radio show or anything. He just does his one show with Shannon, right?
Just play the hits, AJ. Play the hits.
Because they put Stephen A. I know Stephen A. goes to work.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. We're all in the mood for a melody. And you got us feeling all right. So what we're saying there is, I saw Elton John in Pittsburgh a couple years ago.
Why does that have anything to do with this story?
Well, let me tell you. So Elton John is like infamous for canceling shows and everything like that.
Yeah,
and obviously it's because Ty missed out on the same concert that I got to see or whatever two times because he canceled. A lot of people think it's because of traveling. I do agree. But I think also it's because people get sick of playing the fucking song. Like they get sick of singing the song, performing the songs. I think that becomes something that gets a bit wearing on people. Skip Bayless has been able to sing us a song, You're the Piano Man, for 25 years. Every single day, plays the hits, same hits, same vigor, same passion.
Okay, all right, but how was Elton John involved in this?
Because Elton John hates singing that song that we just sang right there. Hates it. Billy Joel.
Thank you for bringing it up. You really cleared it up.
You get it. It plays. It plays. It plays. Oh, what's this song? We saw Elton John for a minute and a half.
Tiny Dancer, maybe is what you're...
He was fucking on this floating piano.
Classic Elton.
With lights on it, and he was just getting hovered around the arena. Place was packed out. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. And then we left. We said we saw it.
Yep.
He didn't play Piano Man for you?
No. It's at the end. It's at the end.
Encore. It's the encore.
Bro, all right, I'm done. See? That's what happens.
Yeah.
Each Friday, something like that has happened. It's over. We lost
something
it.
Like what?
Like that. Last Friday, I forget what it was.
It was the
tweet.
The tweet, I thought somebody else was mad at somebody.
D-Hop.
Really. It was completely different. It was D-Hop taking a shot at Houston. I thought he was taking a shot at Arizona. I was like, well, that's it for the week. There we did. We had it. And this feels like that moment now.
Play us the song.
You're the sports stooge. Play us the song again. 'Cause we have nothing else to talk about. So these words, they flow out my mouth. La 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 la. This show fucking stinks.
Are you gonna watch Shinigami tomorrow night, AJ?
Yeah, how we doing that? Are we doing a watch party?
Where am I? It's the Poison Brothers Network. What is it?
The Debo Boys.
Browsers?
No, Demon Boys.
Demon Boys.
Demon Boys.
Demon Boys.
I did think it was Debo Boys there for a second, by the way. I think Debo Boys and Demon Boys, very different crowd. But the Demon Boys, I believe they are streaming it on their YouTube. I will wait because I am getting nervous for Shinigami now that we got a fighter in the ring. You know what I mean? I'm getting a little bit nervous.
Do you think they're giving all the people that in attendance in the fighters like the finger prick, COVID test, or the nasal swabs? Like, how do you think they're all the protocol?
Potential anal swab like China's doing. They said that's the most accurate. But I do believe this is going to be, it's going to feel like Texas there, I think. I think it's going to be a pretty free. I think it's gonna
Where
be,
is it?
It's in Virginia, I think.
Where's Big Smile from? You're making Shinigami fly all the way across the country?
Well, that's where street beefs originated. You know, whenever we talked to Shinigami, he actually talked about that, how a lot of fighters on the West Coast were fans, but they couldn't get to the Virginia compound or something where it happened. So then they brought the West Coast one, and that's where Shinigami was in the hay barrel ring where he beat the fuck out of old Buddy. So I think the original is in Virginia, I'm sure. I'm not 100% sure. And then
that's what he said,
they're going to bounce around. So he's got to go to Virginia to fight Big Smile, who is the OG East Coast champ over there in Virginia.
How much you think the purse is for the fight?
Oh,
geez, it's got to be a
500K.
I mean, to the loser, the winner's getting more than that.
What do you think it is? Do you think it's like a handshake type thing, or
like a hot dog and a Greyhound bus ticket?
Fucking ham sandwich.
I'm sure Shinigami's getting some points on the back end with however many streams it gets.
The Demon Boys? You think he has a deal with the Demon Boys?
Yeah, Shinigami. He feels like he has all of his bases covered. Still trying to figure out how old he is.
He's got a very old daughter.
Somewhere between 38 and 65. Couldn't tell, but
Bro, I just bought a new piece of furniture. It's being delivered between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. That's basically what you just did with Shinigami's age. You know what I mean? It's somewhere in this range here. You think 38's the bottom?
No, I'd say 30 at the youngest.
He could be 25, 28.
How's he have a 17-year-old daughter?
Is she 17?
all right. So
I don't know. She looked like she was at least.
she's
10, 12,
17.
14.
He's at 30's probably.
Can we put a picture of Shinigami up a little bit? Maybe from the interview that we had with him.
It's probably She's what, 13 or 17?
The daughter looks like she is
17.
She's 12 to 20.
So he's 30 to 65.
Yeah, because 18. Very feasible. Hey, who's getting? Is that you getting a phone call? By the way.
Yeah.
It's
not me, buddy. My phone is not on vibrate.
It's not mine either.
Not me.
While Ariel was talking there,
It sounded like it was Ariel's desk.
well, that's unprofessional. Of course. That's why they don't let him on TV. Can we get a picture of Shinigami up there?
Pop it up right.
Now we wait. Look at him. Zoom in. Can we
Does he
zoom
have a
in?
Facebook?
Oh, big smile.
It's gonna keep shrinking if you zoom in.
keep shrinking.
It's all right. That's enough. All right. I think, man, that maybe 30, maybe, but that was at his heaviest, right? That was post quarantine. I think he could be in his late 20s.
Yeah, definitely.
This alone, I would guess like 46.
No.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
I mean, and then you look at his skill, the black belt. I mean, that's at least, 20 years of mastery?
And he's a blue belt with 4 stripes in jiu-jitsu.
There we
Does he
go.
not have a Wikipedia page?
Because he's fucking Shinigami, dude. He's a ninja. What do you think this is?
No one knows how old this guy is?
Bro,
We could have asked him.
No. That is something we never want to know.
You never ask a ninja what his age is, dude.
Unwritten rules.
Standard ninja rules.
Yeah.
You ask him if he's pregnant next? Come on.
I did ask him his height and weight, basically, which is there's something you're not supposed to ask, by the way. The height and weight thing. You know.
It's a fight game. It's listed usually, like the height, weight, reach, everything.
I don't know if Street Beefs is listed in height and weight.
Can we say we're making like a promo? We need his age.
You want me to text him? I don't. By the way, I do not have Shinigami's number. I'll DM him. But then when I open my DMs, by the way, there's a whole... Like, I had to do everything with Shinigami via DM. And I cracked open the DM, and I'm like, oh, my God, all these. I never go over there. And I was worried. I actually had to ask Nick if the people knew that I potentially saw that they sent me a message, and am I being forced to respond now? And I was told that, no, that is not the case. So me and Shinigami strictly have a DM relationship. I wonder if he's answering right now. You think he's traveling? Hey, how old are you? How old are you? Is that known or?
We need it for legal purposes.
I'm not lying to Shinigami. Okay, we're just getting into this position. Is it a known thing? You think he wins tomorrow?
Oh yeah,
pretty easily. Probably. Yeah.
Like big time fucking knockout.
Yeah, he's gonna kick that dude's fucking head to Washington D.C.
From Virginia to D.C. Big smile downtown. Yeah, what's going on? Pal?
Are there judges? Like, can this go to a decision?
The crowd, maybe there's like one of these things. Ah.
Oh yeah.
Your winner. Shinigami.
Whoever can yell, remember your training the loudest.
How about that being his corner man? My corner man, I'd never met him before, so he was trying to hype me up.
It's a good corner man.
Remember your training. Hey, think about it. Think about what you're doing out there. I wish I could have done that in a fight that I was potentially in a corner. You know what I mean with Sean? I wish I could have done that there. Remember your training, dude. You're throwing wild punches right now. Okay, let's bring it back in a little bit. But I've never stepped into that except for in the Oculus Arena, and I have nothing but respect for Shinigami and anybody else that opts in there. I'm getting attacked now for saying that Style Bender's potentially not the best athlete this weekend because I asked if he could throw a ball. So I'm getting attacked now by people that could all fucking kill me with their bare hands.
You know those people that are attacking you? They can't throw a ball.
Oh, yeah, but they could kill me.
Yeah.
These people, these are the cauliflower people that I've been talking about for a long, long time. These people could all kill me. They're attacking me. And I should have known that was, like that could have come with that conversation, but I thought that was a bit ridiculous. Now, it is incredibly difficult. He is incredibly athletic. There's a picture of him bombing a ball. I think he's kicking a field goal or a rugby ball or something like that. But 6'8", I mean, NBA players are great athletes as well. I just don't want to get that diminished. You don't have to lift one, you don't have to bury another, but it kind of happened there.
Wow.
It's a no-win. It's a no-win argument because everybody defines like athletic ability in different ways.
I don't think ball in your hand. Just can you throw it? Like, okay, can you do everything else? Cool. Just can you throw a ball and play catch? Because I think that is a pretty large part of this whole thing.
I mean, yes, I would agree with you.
We're wrong though.
I know. Because it's how people that just because somebody can jump high, people are like, oh, this guy's so athletic. I'm like, no, he could be the worst athlete in the world. He could just jump high.
I agree. By the way, incredibly athletic move that he's doing right now.
I'm not talking Israel Adesanya. He actually is athletic. I'm talking anybody in general when people try to say that.
No, but what you just said though, like that person jumping really high, incredibly athletic move. Like I understand completely, but when you're talking about athlete, you're talking about just like full. Now, I don't think the other people that are in the athletic conversation for greatest athletes of all time could go into a ring and not just get their heads kicked in. Like, you know what I mean? So I do believe that is an advantage, that he has in the athletic sphere. But until I see him play catch, I'd like to, you know what I mean? I'd like to at least talk about it.
Yeah. Also, Luka Garza fucking suits up for the Iowa Hawkeyes this weekend, and he is the best athlete that is taking the court this weekend. I mean, Israel Adesanya, obviously explosive athlete. He ain't no fucking Luka Garza.
Luka, by the way, leading that hot Iowa Hawkeyes team.
Yeah, the Hawks are flying high right now.
Does Barry Badger and that $10 million disc guy suit up this weekend, or?
That is true. Lady Macbeth,
Scotty McNeil.
The fucking disc golfer. Mm-hmm. Not easy.
Oh.
What?
I'm still trying to figure out who paid him. Who gave him the $10 million contract?
Let's guess.
Are there teams? Are there teams that are buying up we made golfers?
We made this joke, but Fox potentially is in the running for that.
Yeah.
Same with ESPN. At this point, now that we know a little bit more about things.
Yeah.
That's the show. We end this with a stump. We're stumped.
Who knows?
Could be information we could find out very easily, but we'll choose not to. Good luck to Mr. Macbeth in his frolfing. We hope it brings another sport to light where people can make money. We enjoy watching people succeed. From myself, AJ, all the boys, all of our guests, we can't thank you enough. Yesterday, hashtag I watch PMS got up to number 3, I believe, in the trends. Can't thank you enough. Gave away 2 chairs. Billy Tube, Zito made all that happen. We appreciate you guys. This weekend, keep us updated with what you got going on, maybe things that we should talk about next week. We're getting into a dry time, but that could change mightily with the massacre that's potentially coming next week. We got Massacre Monday coming up here on the McAfee Show and cannot wait to be joined by all of you. The fact that you spend some time of your day with us, we are eternally grateful. Have the greatest weekend of all time, all right? AJ and I will see you Monday. The boys will as well. Hammer Down is in about 20 minutes. Remember, hashtag FanDuel, Hammer Down, rollover.
500.
500.
My bad.
What? We'll talk
500.
We'll talk about that on Hammer Down right here, the gambling show that is making a lot of people money. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. You all are the greatest humans of all time. Cheers. Give a round of applause to yourself. We'll see you next week.
Bye, AJ.